Would you look at that? We are live and only a couple of minutes behind schedule, but we've made it. It's great. We're here. We've got 3 of the panel. We got one more on the way. He's finishing up. So, right. Just kidding. He is right there. Look at that. It's free UFC bet picks.
Let's go.
What's
up, guys?
What's up, brother?
There we go. So we got the full 4-piece panel. We got the Couch Warrior. We got free UFC bet picks. And we've got Roto Brady. And we are ready to break down whatever UFC 321, whatever number it was, is what I was about to say. But we are here. We've had people in the chat since like 8 o'clock this morning. We've got Free was jumping in early. We got M.A. Liren or something like that. I don't know what Flubby is, but
free UFC bet picks.
Oh, there you go. That checks out. It's an acronym. I got you. There we go. Definitely reign supreme. You know what's up. Grateful Dude. Shout out to Grateful Dude. Grateful Dude is a channel member. If you guys are channel members, you are fantastic people. Grateful Dude is one of them, and I am grateful for you, dude. Mind Freak is, you know. Mind Freak's here. What's up, Mind Freak? Yeah, vacation was great, actually. I definitely recommend the Northeast. We went out to Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts.
And you don't pull up to New York to see your co-host?
That'll be when we get out to New York. I will definitely hit you up. We're going to all 50 states, but we went to those 3 over the last one.
You got to pull up to Queens, bro. I'll show you what's up.
Dude, definitely will. When we're in New York, we're definitely stopping by. We're gonna get dinner or something together for sure.
My brother
we got
lives in
Steven's
Bed-Stuy.
What's up?
I need to get to Brooklyn. My brother lives in Bed-Stuy, so.
Oh, there you go.
I'm Brooklyn born and raised, baby.
Let's go, New Yorkers. Look at you guys. You guys are all proud of your New York. You know.
It's a solid place.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs about how New York is great, so I get it.
Sing it, Tyler. Which song?
Telling everybody to do what they need to do. Like it.
I want to know is he going to go Frank Sinatra or like Alicia Keys? I want to know.
Yeah,
you got to hear it, Tyler.
I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing it.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think I want to hear Tyler sing.
Yeah, I can't sing to save my life. Like, nah.
Brady is not encouraging the singing at all.
No singing.
I don't know. Sometimes people, when they belt it out, it sounds way better than it visually looks like it would. Susan Boyle became famous from that. So
there you go. That's right.
You look like you can't sing.
It's true. I do look like I can't sing, and I definitely can't. That is not something I can do. So we get our singing done with these fists. We speaking of channel members though, we got Derek Izzy in the chat. Let's go. If he doesn't win money this weekend, someone's in trouble. Hopefully it's not me, but Derek is a channel member, so I'm going to try my best to help him get some money here. Dick's Insider with a new profile picture. Look at that. He brought the McDonald's fries. Okay. All right. Yeah, dude, seriously, back-to-back shows. Like, he's on it. He is on it.
And then, now the Contender Series is over, I can actually get back to normal.
Dude,
Dixon, seriously. It's because I'm not Italian, bro. That's why.
That's true. You don't sound like the typical like New Yorker that's like walking here.
I'm an Eastern European like immigrant child New Yorker. It's a little bit different.
Very still hands from this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, do you ever just like shout at people when you're walking though? No?
What'd you say?
Do you ever just shout at people when you're walking? Isn't that like what people do in New York?
I do get really upset if someone's walking really slowly in front of me. I get really upset. I mean, this is not the place or the time to walk slowly, okay? We're on the New York City sidewalk. You need to pick it up or move to the side. Oh,
you're darn right.
Oh my God, when people stand in the middle of the subway staircase and just look at their phone, like, okay, I get it. You need directions. Get the hell off the stairway.
You should be standing to the right side, fast people on the left. Like, how it works, just like in traffic. Fast lane is the left lane, Don't be going the speed limit in the left lane. Yeah, whatever. But it's not like you can drive there. You're in New York. You can't drive. Everything's just bumper to bumper.
I drive and it's horrible. It's a horrible, terrible experience. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy.
Yeah, I have no intention of that. When we visit New York, I will not be driving. I was in Boston and I hated driving there. I don't plan on driving in New York.
Our trains suck too. Just walk.
Yeah, walking and maybe like. Do you guys have those like little like scooters you can rent with your phone? I feel like that's the only other option.
We have City Bike.
Oh, there you go. Same idea. We'll catch up with the rest of the chat quick, and then we'll jump into these fights. I know I'm rambling here. We got Ryan, first time checking live. That's awesome. We love to see
Ryan.
It. Yeah, all the stuff with the Dana White Contender Series. That was my jam. I love the Contender Series. Yeah, like your Sopranos. Yeah, there you go. Speak like that.
I spent a lot of my life in a very, very Italian part of New York, Staten Island, Tottenville in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they sound like there. That's what real New Yorkers sound like.
Do they like Mind Freak says, it's mandatory to say, "Hey, I'm walking here." Yeah, I get it.
Not gonna lie, when me and my fiance went on our honeymoon, my wife, sorry, when we went on our honeymoon, literally every time we were walking, it was in Europe. Every time we're walking behind someone, that's what was in my head. I'm like, I'm fucking walking here, man. Move over.
That's right, dude.
They're so much lower than us compared to New York.
I get it. Like, I'm from the Midwest, dude. Like, we just like, everybody's pretty chill here. Nobody's like in a hurry. So like, I get it. It's like we're out there. Everybody's like, we got to rush, you know? So it is what it is. But okay, real quick, what is everybody's thoughts on the card? Let's start. You know what? Let's start with Roto Brady. What are your thoughts on this card in general? And then we'll jump into the first fight.
Well, one, I always appreciate the occasional AM starting pay-per-view card. Not that, like, you know, I wouldn't want every card to be like that. The certain evenings get a special feeling to them, but when you can get a card like start at a different part of the day, it's not necessarily going to shut down the rest of your evening like another card would. So that's always good. This is a hilarious set of 2 title fights for different reasons. Like, one, the cosmic irony of Alexander Volkov being on this card, that Cyril Gane is fighting for the title. This being the fight, like, after everything that Tom Aspinall has gone through since, you know, his last fight, is just like, yeah, like, of course they settled on this. Like, this would have been if a year ago I would have said minus 110 that Tom Aspinall's next fight is going to be Cyril Gane, because of course it is. And then the co-main event, it's just like, you know, I don't know if you saw Dean Thomas had some like pretty harsh things to say about this fight. And it just is weird. Like, Virna, you would really have to be a Virna supporter to say like that this is a title fight. And I mean, not just a supporter, you back her, like, her skill set, like, very strongly, because otherwise it's very hard to wrap your head around the fact that this is the fight to determine the best 115-pound female fighter in the world. You know, Mackenzie Dern being in this spot is just really tough to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I do echo the sentiment. I do love the morning start time, but unfortunately, like, of all the mornings, this is a bad one, because like many months ago, I signed up for a 10-mile race on this Saturday thinking I'd be done by the time the card starts. Turns out it starts at the same time as the card. So that's awesome. What about you, brother? What's that?
Just run really fast.
Yeah, that's the plan. And then I'm just going to book through it and skip all the.
Nah, get you one of those like helmet things with like a thing to hold your phone right in front of your face, and then just run.
That's an idea. I might have to do that. What I'll probably do is just like turn off notifications and then just start the card as soon as I get back, and then just skip through all the ads. But because I can't live bet in Nebraska anyway, so whatever. But Free, what are your thoughts on the card in general?
Super excited, big time Aspinall guy. Don't want to give anything away, but I've got a lot of parlays cashing on Aspinall. So I've been looking forward to this fight for a long time. Top to bottom, lots of really difficult fights to pick. The odds makers did a great job. Sometimes in these cards that we see in different geographies, we see a lot of lopsided matchups. We've got a couple of them here, but we've got a bunch of fights, like one that is literally a 110-110. So overall, looking forward to the card. I also really enjoy morning fights, and I've got some NBA plans that evening. So it's going to be a great Saturday.
Heck yeah, brother. Couch, what about you?
I love this card. I think it's a really good card, honestly. Like, I was looking at this one in 322 and trying to decide which one was better. Ultimately, I think it's 322.
Yeah. But
this is a sick card also. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think this card is going to be fun. So unlike what I assume you guys have going on, I don't have hardly anything in the way of bets so far. So that's a problem. I need to put some out because the good folks over on the Patreon want to see that. And like, I hate to have to force bets just to put some out there, but I do not have hardly anything. So
it's not an easy slate. It's a tricky slate. Like, the fights are good in terms of like a fan perspective. Like, they're going to be fun, but it's not easy to bet on.
No. yeah, a lot of the lines are either accurate or like the side that you're on is just like, come on. So
yeah, I mean, we're gonna have our hindsight warriors coming back afterwards, being like, "I told you, this is so obvious."
Every week, there's somebody in the comments that has picked every single fight right, but didn't happen to mention anything until after the fights are over. But they swear up and down that they had everything right and that I'm an idiot. And
I got a comment this week that reminded me of you and how you've been getting angry at these comments recently.
Was it like you had like 2 comments when I watched your video, like either like early this morning? I thumbs downed him. Was it the guy that was being a jerk?
It was more bad predictions like the Vancouver card. Nasrat wins, Ludovic wins, Aliskerov might get smoked. I
thumbs down him right away for you. Don't worry.
I mean, I picked Aliskerov, but I said dog or pass. So
yeah, you know how it is. People are terrible. Like comment section's hard. Like the people that are in the live chats are usually great. It's like, it's the others, and not all the others, but there's some out there. So,
dude, comments are good for the algorithm.
Yes,
you know? Like,
and I'll try to argue with them too because it helps the algorithm. But then sometimes I just get annoyed.
No, they're out there doing the Lord's work. They think they're getting under your skin. They're helping your views, brother.
Yep, that's true. And I sometimes I will point that out to them. So it is always nice. But yeah, I do try to like engage them just enough to keep them coming back. Look, real quick, shout out to Olajman Dream for jumping in there. What's up, my friend? And yes, we are all basically like zombies, just going through our day really slow. Yes, yep, I agree with that. And Nate Brown, shout out another channel member. There you go. He counted on too. Yeah. Nate Brown, fantastic. Been a channel member for a long time. Also a member on the Patreon. The dude double dips. He's a fantastic supporter of the channel. Probably the biggest supporter of my channel, like in general, just because he's double dipping. So that's fantastic. Shout out Nate Brown. Let's jump into these fights. We've spent like 10 minutes just yapping, and that's
what else is new, bro. Have you watched the panel before?
Seriously.
I haven't seen you guys in a long time too, so I had to catch up. Good to see you guys.
Exactly, dude. It's good to we haven't done one of these in a while. When I was like, who do I want to have on? I was like, okay, normally I have these booked out way in advance. And then I was like, okay, who have I not done a show with in ages? And I was like, Free and Brady. Haven't done a show with them in ages. Obviously, Couch, we do everyone.
Brady is like, what the hell did I sign up for, bro?
Dude, right? And I think last time we did a show together was on his podcast. So it was totally like different vibe. It was very like polished, to the point, like very, very well done. And here we are just like rambling about vacations and people talking about New York and walking and like, I don't know. So we're actually going to start the first fight. Okay, I promise we're going to do that. We have Jacqueline Amorim. She's taking on Mizuki Inoue. And let's see. So, Couch, I know you didn't tape this one yet, so we'll let you go last.
Yeah, lucky devil.
You want me to just go first and just
Okay, yeah. Okay, Couch, you go first and give your like untaped one.
Yeah, so I haven't taped it. I'm not familiar with Inoue. I don't remember her. I briefly looked at the UFC stats. She's been taken down by Hannah Goldie. Don't love that. And Tyler told me she had knee surgery. So a Morim knee bar. That's the reasonable conclusion. I'll eventually tape it. It's just I'm not super interested in the fight, and I'm not going to bet on it, I don't think, unless like I see something on the tape. So I'm just slow to get there.
Fair enough. All right, Brady, what do you got?
Yeah, like I was looking for every possible reason to go with Inoue. I love fighters with Inoue's kind of background. Invicta fights, like, you know, people who have fought like over in Ryzen and all that other stuff. Like, I love people with those fighting backgrounds. It's those heroes in the background that make this sport such an interesting thing to follow. And Inoue has this interesting thing too, like in her pro history, where like, even down in Invicta, the fighters that she was losing to, it was not by huge margins, and they went on to become very good fighters in the UFC. So even in the UFC, you know, her wins definitely are not like of an impressive caliber. The loss, not that bad considering the person it was to. But like, I think that for that reason, like Amorim has always like, you know, over this 4-fight winning streak, it's an impressive stretch of finishes. She's shown versatility and, you know, how she can win fights. But, like, overall, like, Montserrat Ruiz, Corey McKenna, Vanessa Demopoulos, Polyana Viana together makes up a reputable enough, you know, resume in the UFC for me to like Emery in this situation. I think that she's closer to the quality of fighter that anyway loses to, as opposed to the ones that she's beaten in her pro career. So where I was going with this was like, I'm not, the thing I'm playing in this one is Emery either by submission or by decision, and I'm using that just in parlays. I think it's like minus 200.
I mean, that's all fair. Free, what do you got, brother?
You know, I'm on Emery, but I think it's a little closer of a fight than a lot of people think. Mizuki is pretty strong. Yeah, Hannah Goldie, little muscle shark, got her down, but she was muscling around Hannah Goldie pretty well. And Mizuki, you know, when you look at them, you would not expect her to do well in those clinch exchanges with Hannah Goldie at all. She's a very slender kind of striker, not a shredded, jacked fighter like Hannah. And I think she's going to do decent in those takedown defense exchanges early here. She's got decent ground game. I think she's the better striker on the feet here. Lots of movement. She's been out for a long time, knee injury as mentioned, and you can't judge too much on Instagram, but I was hoping that from now and since her September 2023 fight, there'd be some footage, some posts of her training, and there was not a single one. Again, you can't put too much into that, but I also, you know, kind of like Brady, I was looking for a reason for Inoue, and I just can't find one. I think it's going to be a little closer than people think. I think Inoue could have a strong round 3 here. She's performed well late in fights. She's really tough to finish. She's fought Amanda Lemos, Alexa Grasso, and Verna, and none of them could finish her, and she even went to a split decision against Verna. I'm on Emery, and I've got her in a parlay because I'm a chalky bum. I think it could be a close fight.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we all, well, except for Couch who didn't tape it yet, but everybody is like, you know, I wanted to get to Mizuki, but same. And it's not because like I wanted to like fade Emery. It's the number on Mizuki. But the problem is the injuries. Like she's had multiple knee reconstructions, in like she's had the same knee reconstructed multiple times from my understanding. Like that's just, you're not going to be the same level. Her striking is going to be cleaner, that's for sure. I don't think she hits as hard as Emery, but her striking is going to be cleaner as Mizuki's. But yeah, she's durable. She's never like out of a fight, hard as heck to finish, but like she's not winning these fights that are like the big step ups. Like she's fought Karolina Kowalkiewicz as well. That was another one, split decision loss there. That's another former title challenge.
Is she good off her back?
She has a lot of armbar finishes, but not over like good competition.
No, by good I mean like surviving and getting up.
Kind of. But her takedown defense is so bad that like, you know, like you're not gonna just like sub her easy usually. So like I could see that I lean decision, but then again, the reason that like I'm not just playing like, oh, Emery decision's easy money is because I don't know what Mizuki's going to look like after all of these injuries. Also, I don't know if you saw the like the whole eye patch thing with her.
She had that was a joke.
Patch. No, dead serious. This is a real thing. Oh. Apparently she actually did like get something done to her eye. Like I don't know what it might not have been.
Maybe it was just like a corrective surgery or something.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. But like you're just like, man, like it's always like she's just had so much. Like I don't know. That probably is nothing at this point. Like who knows? But it does make you wonder. Like what else is there? So I don't know. I gotta stay away from that. But yeah, there's not anything that makes me want to play Mizuki. But there's also nothing that makes me want to parlay Emery. So it's a pass for me. But you know, like I think Emery wins. But you know, like I don't want to start the night off like oh man, I'm an idiot. I just played like Emery decision and then she got a sub, or I played Emery's money line and like she got beat. You know, like but you know,
we don't know if the cardio got fixed.
Yeah, there's just so much you don't know. Mizuki's gonna have better cardio though. That girl can go. Like that girl can go.
In a way, I'm not familiar with, but I know more. I know that like we have no reason to believe her cardio is any better than it was before.
Yeah, Mizuki can go. Like she's durability and cardio are not things she struggles with. It's stop. It's like not getting hurt, and you know she doesn't have any power. So
the Emery cardio looked a little bit better in the Conejo fight than the Sam Hughes fight, but to me it's still a red flag, not something addressed.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's the way that she is on the feet. Like that girl goes in there and she just starts swinging. Like every punch has to be the only punch. And then when she gets into the ground, it's a little different. But on the feet, like. When Amarim's throwing, she's like, this is going to be the knockout punch every single time. So, you know.
Against, to Mike, your question, like against Amanda Lemos, who got a couple takedowns on Mizuki. Mizuki really had nothing on her back. She'd flash up like a couple triangle attempts. And then eventually Amanda would just let her up. Like none of the triangles were anywhere close. It wasn't like Amanda felt in danger. Amanda was just like, what am I doing here? I could knock you out and get a bonus. Let's get up. Mizuki didn't have a whole lot off her back in my eyes.
She does have 9 submission wins, and a lot of them are arm bars. But like I said, yeah, they're not.
She's not subbing Amorim. Yeah, like when I tape it, like I'll be looking like, okay, can she survive and get up? Is she trying to get up? Like that's what I would be looking for. If the answer is no, then I might take this fight by Friday, maybe, or maybe Saturday morning.
Yeah, most of her arm bars are over when she was fighting for Jules, and like Jules' competition is not the greatest.
Horrible.
And she seems content to look for them.
Yes, she will not shy away from that. So we can move on. That's okay. That's a good fight. That's a good fight to start the night off.
Did Brady have some?
What's that?
I was just like, what really gets me on Inoue is that I think in a world of possibilities for Amarim to win this fight, I think Inoue in every outcome would have to grind out a split decision victory. Probably, it's just not enough of a sliver for me to be able to even take that number.
I mean, a split decision win at plus 300 is okay.
It is, but do you want to sweat it? I don't.
But I mean, what are her odds to win a split? Plus 1,200? You know,
that's true. Maybe you play a sweat. Or play a split. I don't know. Like just embrace. I don't even know what the odds on that are. I would pull it up, but
I gotta tape it first. I'm talking out of my butt. But.
Yeah, no, but I think these are all good thoughts. And then you know, also Brady, in my mind, if you're thinking along those lines, you might play an over 2.5 at plus 110.
You getting plus money on the over?
Yeah, because Marines finishing upside
for a women's strawweight fight. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
When's the last time Mizuki's been finished?
Never.
It's not about Mizuki. It's about Amorim. That's why.
And the layoff. You know,
yeah. I might play that over. I might have just found a bet, so that's good because I needed to find another bet for this card. And like, I mean, I know Mizuki's like injury prone, but she's also not fragile as far as in the fight. She'll fight with like an arm dangling off, just hanging on by its tendons. Like she don't care. If
what you're saying is true, like that she plays off her back sometimes, like you might not want to be playing that decision.
She's hard to sub. I might just play the over 2.5. I don't know.
Has she fought a grappler like Amorim yet?
Well, she fought Verna and went to split decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Verna's a better grappler than Amorim.
Yeah, but Verna early in her career wasn't really subbing a lot of people, was she?
No.
I think she fought Alexa Grasso and didn't get finished back in Invicta.
Correct. Yeah, she fought Alexa Grasso as well. Didn't get finished. That's correct. So, girl's good.
Grasso also didn't get jiu-jitsu till later, though.
It's true.
She fought Lemos, Grasso, and Verna. Didn't get finished. She beat Beck Rawlings, BKFC stud, former UFC fighter. You know, Mizuki's not trash. The thing is, when Amanda Lemos got her down, it was like a really embarrassing little trip. Like Lemos had her back on the cage and just kind of sneakily tripped her. Not a great look, you know. This one feels so easy, you know. So nothing ever is.
Yeah. I think I might play that over though at plus money. I think that's something I like. We got Glenbot hopping in. What's up, dude? Glenbot's always over there on Couch's channel, so it's always good to see Glenbot.
That's my guy, bro. He also had an insane night. I think not this past weekend, the one before that. He won like 80 units or something.
Nice. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn. 80 units is a whole lot in one night. That's insane.
That's more than I made in the last 2 years. So
that's impressive. Good job, Glenbot. I mean, sure, whatever. That's
we're competing. We're attempting to compete now.
I guess that's all right.
People make up such. You got to have nothing going on in your life to turn on a stream of dudes just talking fights and be like, "Ugh, you think you're competing with these guys?" Like, come on, bro. Like,
well, there's only two. There's, you know, this isn't just a troll. It's either somebody who's being sarcastic. I think this is the homie Dev, or this is a burner,
Right.
from whatever those guys are on We Want Picks.
Yeah. I don't know. We can say it's competing.
Tyler's been there, done that. I already know.
I used to have beef with Angelo. I did. And then he bought one of my t-shirts and I was like, well, I guess I got to let the beef go. He just gave me money. So like, all right, he paid me off.
I got nothing but respect for them, bro. They killed it. They literally make a living. They don't need to work.
Yeah, they're good at what they do and they've been doing it a long time.
It. I got nothing but respect.
Yeah, I mean, it all started because he started throwing shade at the marker board at like just unprompted in the middle of a live stream, and a bunch of my like people that watch my channel started commenting like, "Dude, did you hear what Angelo said about you and your marker board?" And I was like, "No, dude, I don't watch their stuff." And he was like, "Dude," and they were like sending me like clips of it, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." So then I was like, well, I'm punching up, he's punching down, because at this time I had like 1,000 subscribers, so it was like, okay, like. They'd still be punching down, but at that point it was like I'm hardly even a blip on the radar.
The whiteboard is sick, bro. I wish I came up with that.
Everybody loves the whiteboard.
It's the only thing that makes my channel different than the other. Just
I was about to say that's what separates you, and you know what you're talking about. But the whiteboard definitely helps.
It does help. Yeah, and like it's the weirdest thing because like honestly, I just kind of did it because I was like, how do I make it so I can kind of keep my notes on the screen and not look like a doofus reading my notes all the time? And I was like, yo, I could teach it like a class. So it worked out great. And then it stuck. So we sticking with it. Yeah, exactly. The lectures are great. So it's always good.
All right, like, Tyler, let's move, bro.
yeah, we're killing it. Okay, we got to move on. Okay. As that Maxim Mitroposo, Brady's kicking this one off. What do you got, brother?
Yeah, I have come to grow very skeptical of prospects out of the New England area. The thing is, like, you'll see CES put on fights between a 4-0 guy and a guy that's like 1-50, and like it'll be like his big like showcase. Mitroposo, I think his efforts have become more admirable as time goes on in the UFC. I mean, like 2 straight split decision losses. When you lose by split decision, no matter what, whether the judges messed up or not, you were very, very close to winning that fight. It very easily could have been a win. But, like, still from so many of those fights, every time he left so much wanting for if you were rooting for him. And I don't even know if I was. As Maxim, what the hell? I need to make sure. Has it Maxim? All right, just making sure on that. I love his kind of career background too. I love people who've put in time in Brave and in Octagon with a C. And as far as like fighting in that region of the world, a lot of his wins in Octagon with a C were of quality. And this 3-fight stretch in the UFC, like, come on, very forgivable from Maxim. To start off with a win over Tyson Nam. I don't care if Tyson Nam is 50 years old at the time. All right. Tyson Nam is of a certain level, and you really have to possess a certain level of skill to be able to come out on top against that guy. And then 2 straight decision losses to Charles Johnson and to Jiril Mbekov in fights where Maxim certainly had his moments. Unless you're just like in love with the high number, I don't see any reason to take Mitroposo here. I think Maxim's performances in the UFC, even in not winning, it exudes different level of quality than what Mitroposo has been able to do. I think like the best plays here would be like using Maxim's money line in a parlay, or like Maxim by decision. I think is pretty safe. Both of these guys, for the most part, have been like doing things that make fights go the distance.
Yeah, that's accurate. Both of them have gone to split decision at least a couple of times now, so that makes a lot of sense.
Raposo's splits were so fraudulent, though.
Oh, dude, especially the Lima one. The Lima one was real.
They were both super fraudulent, but yeah.
But Free, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty confident in Azad here. I tend to agree on some overs, as that decision. I think Mitroposo goes for takedowns a lot, and then he doesn't know what he wants to do when he gets there. Against Sumadirji, he just did nothing. Back against like Jake Hadley, he would get up. He would literally take Jake down and then just stand up. He's can throw some nice combos, but I don't think his striking's all that great. Really unorthodox, kind of weird angle, weird uppercuts from different angles. He keeps his head off the center line, like he does some good things. But overall, I just think he's a little too unorthodox to like scale out this process on the feet. And I think Azat's just way better everywhere. Very tough level of competition, like Brady mentioned. Even pre-UFC, Azat's last opponent was like 8-0, and he was freaking good. And Azat blew through him.
Yeah, I kind of echo that. I bet the money line for Tagir against him, and I like hammered it, and I was sweating. Like I know, like Tagir won, but I was like, this is close enough that you could definitely be arguing the other way if you really wanted to. But yeah, I think Azat gets it done. I also think decision, and even if it isn't even if it's not supposed to be a decision, we've seen it enough in the last few weeks that like they might just decide that it's going to decision anyway. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to just take Azat and put him in a parlay maybe, and assume he wins a decision. But Couch, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, you know me. We've been doing the panel for how long? Like you give me a plus 300, plus 400, plus 500. I'm usually pretty interested, but I got to be able to game it out in my head. I like to sit down and try to like imagine what it's going to look like, game it out. And I don't know what a Raposo win looks like. Like I've seen people say like it's MMA, right? It's mixed martial arts. Of course, you can always win a fight, even if you don't deserve to win it, just by landing a beautiful, well, not deserve it. Even if you shouldn't on paper win it, you can still win because you land a beautiful shot, a nice place shot, a nice time shot, whatever. So of course Raposo can win. I don't think he's knocking out Azat at a high clip at all or anything close to it. I just don't think he will. I don't think he submits Azat. And what does that leave? Do I think he wins a decision? Do I think he can win minutes? No, I don't. Raposo's a wrestler. That's his background. That's what he comes from. I don't think he can out-wrestle Azat. I think his takedown defense is better, and I think Azat's wrestling is better. And we've seen Raposo out-grappled. The Hadley look was horrible. That's why, like, I personally wouldn't touch overs or Azat decision, because why can't he submit Hadley if he takes him down? I think he can. And I also don't see why he can't hurt him and knock him out, because Azat does hit hard, rocked the crap out of Charles Johnson in that first round. And Raposo doesn't have great defense. Like, he kind of just stands there. He's flat-footed, not a ton of head movement. So I don't see why Azat can't finish him. I don't have like a super passionate take. I'm not betting on anything, I don't think, but I do think Azat should get it done.
Look at that. All four of us for the Azat Maxim side. And we'll move right into another absolute banger of a fight. Chris Barnett takes on Hamdi Abdelwahab. And I believe we are on free kicking this one off. What do you got, brother?
I've got Hamdi in a parlay, as sickening as that is to say. I think he's very durable. He's very basic on the feet, right? Obviously, Chris Barnett has the diversity. If you've never seen him fight, he will make your jaw literally drop with his dexterity and athleticism at his size, right? And he's knocked out Jake Collier, or I call him Cake Jollier, when he was a big underdog in that spot and came through. But, against Kennedy Nzechukwu, he hurts himself just waiting for the fight to get announced. And I think Hamdi has a hometown edge here if this were, to my surprise, to go to a close decision. Hamdi's got some power, could get takedowns. I could see Hamdi getting like a early round 3 finish here.
I'm leaning decision. I'm leaning Hamdi decision. And the only thing that's stopping me is the dude throws really heavy leg kicks, and we just saw Barnett's legs give out from his own weight. So, but I'm leaning Hamdi decision. And then, like, every time I'm like, oh, could I play that? And then I look at the number and I'm like, it's just not enough. And then, like, do I want to play the Hamdi KO? Like, not really. So, like, I'm probably going to end up passing, but Hamdi in a parlay is probably all right. Barnett kind of needs to land like a goofy, like, spinning heel kick to knock him out. And like, and it's crazy saying that because Hamdi's not the highest level, but then again, he's only lost like once in the UFC. Like, it's not that bad. And one of them was a no contest, but yeah, I don't know. I'll take Hamdi to win though.
It wasn't a great look losing round 3 to Muhammad Usman, but if you're getting busted for PEDs in this era, where no one gets busted for anything, even though so many guys are clearly on it in comparison to how they looked 2 years ago. If you're getting busted for PEDs now, God damn, like I can't imagine what you must have been on. And so, maybe Hamdi deserves something of a pass for that poor Usman performance.
That's a good point. And like, I mean, they took away Hamdi's win and gave him a no contest because he popped. I wonder if they'll like retroactively go back and then change that one to a no contest, and then Hamdi's now undefeated again. So I don't know. They haven't yet, but who knows? Couch, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that Hamdi should kill this guy. I don't rate Hamdi. I really don't. I don't think he's great. I often try to fade him, but Hamdi's an athlete. He's an athlete. He's a very good wrestler. He hits hard. He hurt Usman. He's not getting knockouts in the UFC yet, but he does hit hard. And Barnett is just not. He's not a UFC fighter. Like, I'm sorry. Like he's a great guy. He's very nice. He's exciting, but like his body is broken. His body is literally broken. I don't understand how he can, like, unless Hamdi does nothing, I don't know how like Chris doesn't get finished here. Like his body just doesn't work anymore. Throw a couple leg kicks, punch him in the head, he's gonna fall down. And there's just not much else. Like he looked horrendous in his last fight. It was horrible. And I love the guy. I would be ecstatic if he comes out here and gets a wheel kick knockout. That would be sick. I still remember when he did the John Vellante one, because I went to go watch the fights live that time. It was my first card ever live. I pull up to the arena. I've got a bet on John Vellante. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. And I just see this wheel kick, and I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
That's crazy.
But I think Hamdi's going to knock him out at some point, whether it's ground and pound or on the feet. Like, it's possible that he just lays on him and we get to a decision. But, like, I feel like at this point of Chris Barnett's career, like, you have to try not to finish him to not get the finish. So I'll pick Hamdi, and I think he's going to knock him out.
It's all fair. Brady, do you have anything to add here? What do you got?
Look, pour some out for the heroes like Chris Barnett. All right. It's people like this that make this sport so uniquely interesting. Super non-reputable career before coming into the UFC, where it's like a little bit of boxing, some kickboxing, mostly in island fights, and a fight against a 0-0 opponent in UAE Warriors. His 3 losses in the UFC in isolation, like, they don't sound that bad. Like, gets submitted by Ben Rothwell, loses by decision to Martin Bidet, which apparently would happen to most people, and, then getting knocked out by Kennedy. But, like, the wins don't do him much credit. Look, this guy probably never should have been in the UFC, but because of his spinning wheel kick, he will live forever. And if this guy had existed just a little bit earlier in history, and we could have seen him against the Korean giant, Jose Canseco, Bob Sapp, Butterbean in Japan, it would have been a whole that we'd be looking back fondly and like, man, remember Chris Barnett? What a nostalgic thing when he was a heavyweight in Japan. Having said that, even though Hamdi hasn't been knocking people out, I think he's very capable of it here. PEDs or whatever. The thing is that Chris Barnett's going to be a very hittable target for Hamdi. I think Hamdi will feel way more comfortable getting a stand-up going than he was against Muhammad Usman, who also just kind of looked better in that last fight than I expected him to. Mm-hmm. So I am playing Hamdi by decision or by knockout together with Amarim by decision or submission.
I love it. There you go. Now, I was just looking at the line, and the only one that's playable for Hamdi that like is enticing is the submission prop. I just don't see him really going for any. Is the problem.
He has short arms, and Chris has pretty circumferenced appendages. I don't know if you can submit this guy.
That's why. Like, that's the only one you can get a good number on. Like, the knockout prop, the best line is plus 130, and it's like, man, that's just no good.
Well, if he's trying to grab a choke like this, like
maybe he could get him with the I don't think I could say it on YouTube. What's the pimp choke, we'll call it, where you just like both hands on the throat and just squeeze.
Mother's milk, head and arm.
Yeah, somebody said that. Glenbot said that.
Yeah.
If you're not, but he said Barnett by it, but still, yeah, same gimmick, right? Here we go. We got Manu jumping in the chat. What's up, Manu? Glad you're here. We can move on to the next fight. I guess I got to kick this one off. This is a good one here. This is actually a good fight. Like, this is where the quality starts, right? We got Jose Delgado taking on Nathaniel Wood. Now, I understand that Nathaniel Wood is going to be the cleaner, more technical fighter. I don't think it matters. I think he's getting knocked out. I think Delgado is going to put it on him. Delgado's a monster. I like an idiot, took Hyder Emil against Delgado because I was like, dude, Emil can eat whatever these guys are throwing at him. Emil's so tough and durable, and the pace he's going to put on him, I'm an idiot. Delgado proved me wrong. I was on Delgado every fight before that, and now my stupid self thought, oh, no, this is going to be different. And if he could do that to Hyder, he could definitely do that to Wood. And it's not because I think that Hyder's a better fighter than Wood, but I think he's more durable than Wood. And I think if he can just do that with ease, yeah, I mean, I think he could do that to Wood. And I think he's going to do that. He's got 3 rounds to work, and I think he's going to crack him. So I'm thinking Delgado here. Knockout seems to be the plan. So, Couch, what do you got?
It's a really good fight. I'm really hyped for this one. I get what you're saying for sure. I do think like there's a very good chance that Delgado knocks out Wood. And I was also on Hyder Emil. You know, I thought that he would be durable. He'd take away the space, blah, 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 and he'd win. But it was a beautiful knockout by Delgado. It was. I just think that, like, yeah, he can knock out Wood. Wood, I don't love the move up to 145 for him, but I can't hate on it too much anymore. I mean, he's 5-1 in the weight class. He's had as many featherweight fights as he has at bantamweight. So, like, it is what it is. Like, he moved up. And so far, he hasn't been knocked out. He did get knocked out at bantamweight, and now he's knocking guys down. He's knocking guys down every single fight, hurting guys every single fight. So I can't really hate on the move to 145 anymore. I do still worry about the chin, and I do think that there's a very good chance Delgado does a very similar combination that what he did with Hyder Emil. But outside of that, if I'm looking at it skill for skill, and even other things, for example, like the level of competition, Nathaniel Wood has clearly fought and beaten the higher level of competition. It's not even quite close. He should be undefeated at featherweight. The Naimov loss is a load of BS. And then skill for skill, like I like his boxing more than Delgado's. I think that Delgado's more dangerous in the clinch. Maybe he has better kicks, but I think Wood's a better boxer. I'm pretty confident in that statement. I do think that he can also hurt Delgado, who keeps his hands low, especially in the pocket. I do not like his defense in the pocket or the way he exits the pocket, and I think Wood could take advantage. And I also think that Wood could out-grapple him. I think Wood can get takedowns. I think that Delgado's takedown defense is pretty good, but I do think that Wood could get him. I think Wood's a very good wrestler. I respect his grappling. I think his jiu-jitsu is very high level. And I think the sub being like plus 1,000 or higher is kind of ridiculous. I haven't played anything yet, but if I do end up on Wood, like I'm going to end up at least a little bit on the sub prop, because who has Delgado fought who has the jiu-jitsu of Wood? Nobody even close. And if Wood's chin holds up, like he will pressure forward, he will take away that space that I've been talking about. You take away those kicks, then you just have to worry about the knees. If you can handle those, you're going to outbox him. The one other thing I did want to say, like my guy Dravi, shout out to him. He sent me this interview with Wood, and I didn't love it. I'll be honest, I didn't love it. Like first off, before I even get to the thing I meant to say, he mentioned that he wants to get a knockout this time because people find him boring. Like his fights aren't that exciting. He wants to get that knockout, and he said he's going to go for it. That concerns me a little because if he comes in there like guns blazing, like might just eat a knee to the chin and just be done. So that I don't love that. But he also said if he needs to, he'll wrestle and maybe he'll sub him. So fine, okay. But then at the end, he was kind of talking about how this is the last fight on his contract. How UFC, they used to, even say your last fight's coming up, you'll renegotiate before the last fight. He said now it's after your last fight's over, then the talks start. And he's like, if they don't re-sign me, that's fine. I got other things going on in life. I have a family, I have a kid, whatever. And I don't love that. Like, I don't think it's a game changer. I don't think it is going to decide this fight. But at the end of the day, on one hand, you have Wood, who's saying essentially, I have no intention of even trying to be champ. He literally said in the interview, I've done everything I wanted to in the sport. On the other hand, you have Delgado, who's hungry. He's hungry. He's young. So I don't know if I want to get in front of him, at least not at the current line. Like I'm still leaning Wood. I'll make Wood my pick. I think he's a better fighter overall right now, but it's a really good fight. I'm excited for it, and we'll see where I end up bets wise. But yeah.
Yeah, I heard the mention of the like potential retirement, and that right there was like,
that was one like post on Instagram. He said like within the next year, one more year, and he's done. But in this interview, he didn't say he's done. Like he's retiring. He just said that if he doesn't get signed, it's okay. Like he'll be fine.
Once they start mentioning it, though, it starts getting scary. But Also, shout out to Derek for always he's a wordsmith. Like this dude always just like is dropping these depending on how you read the sentence type of phrases. So shout out to Derek. He always makes me laugh. Brady, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think like probably the most likely individual outcome is like, maybe a double chance of Delgado by decision or by knockout. But here's the thing. I am by default extremely skeptical of things that any professional athletes say, even about themselves. I wouldn't be worried about someone saying they're going to look for a finish just because, like, I don't know, Shakur Stevenson says that every fight. Like, when he got back to Newark, he was like, I'm really going to put it on. It's like, same old Shakur Stevenson. So I don't know. Professional athletes are weird. But here's what I will say is I do have to roll with Nathaniel Wood at least one more time, because he's one of these guys that's hard to explain. When you look at, the wins he has accumulated in the UFC, it's just well-rounded skill. It's nothing that's like, oh my God, he's a killer. And that kind of, all of his fights have been going the distance for years and years. But whether he's been a mild underdog, whether it's been pick'em, over the last few years, when I chose to go with Nathaniel Wood, it ended up working out. So against a guy like Delgado, who I think like this is a jump up, not just in like competition level, but like exponentially in like the experience like level. It's just like Nathaniel, you have to be a true professional to beat Nathaniel Wood. He's just a tough fighter to beat, especially over the course of 3 rounds, which we have not seen Delgado have to do in the UFC. So at least one more time, I will roll Nathaniel Wood as a slight underdog. But that might get shattered, just like the Davey Grant rule just got shattered.
Dude, seriously, that shattered me. I was on Davey there. Shout out to Presley in the chat. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. Also, Presley's English, so he tries, he's a little biased here. He also tries not to pay attention to those interviews. I totally get it. I understand. The interviews, you never really know how much weight you can put into it. Nate Brown says Delgado's grappling is fine. I agree. It is fine. He's actually pretty good there. Yeah, he could. It definitely could come down to experience, but at some point the experience turns into wear and tear. And I don't know that it's there yet for Wood, but it could be any day, especially when he's talking retirements, even though it's not like an imminent thing. But yeah, fair point. Naimon was extremely unprofessional. A dude cheated his way to a victory. So
you're not cheating. You're not trying.
That's exactly correct.
Especially not in the UFC.
Yeah, exactly. In the UFC, you can just blatantly cheat and like the refs will reward you.
Like it's fine. Like I bet on Ofli against Ramos. How many times did he cheat? Same. How many times did he grab that damn fence, bro?
Like 4, maybe 4. I think it was. But yeah, Free, do you have what's your take on this one? Are you with the other 2 fellas or are you on Delgado?
Pretty tough one. I ended up picking Delgado, and I think it gets a KO. It's crazy how like down everyone is on Nathaniel. He was a hyped up prospect, right? And he was 4-2 as a bantamweight when he was like cutting so much weight. You guys remember the photos of him, right? You could see like every capillary in this guy's body, and he had durability and cardio concerns. He was 4-2 as a featherweight. Now he's 5-1 as a bantamweight, and those cardio concerns are gone. He's been having really strong round 3s. He still gets cracked every now and then, but he's able to bounce back. And they keep matching him up with these big power punchers that and it's like, this seems like a bad matchup. This seems like Wood's going to get KO'd here. And he keeps bouncing back from early damage and taking over as the fight goes on. So he's just kind of a hard guy to pick. He doesn't wrestle all that often. And if this is his retirement fight in front of a big crowd, I could see him wanting to strike. And Delgado is just so big and so dangerous. And I think Delgado like sees things in slow motion. I actually wrote that, but like for his Contender Series fight from his pre-UFC tape, it's just he has a level of composure and poise that's really unique especially for somebody so young. And then he's able to just land devastating damage. So I think he's just kind of a tough matchup for Nathaniel. Again, Nathaniel's tough to pick against. If you look at Nathaniel's losses, Casey Kenny, John Dotson's all right. Muhammad Namadov's all right. but then he couldn't beat Daniel. He couldn't finish Daniel Pineda. He's just kind of up and down, beats Charles Jourdain, beats Charrier. Like, I try to ask myself, what would the line be on this fight if we took their last fight out? Or I try to think about, like, what would the line be between Morgan Charrier, who was a pretty big favorite over Nathaniel, versus Delgado. If Charrier didn't just lose that fight to Wood, I feel like people were higher on Charrier. I would think Charrier would be a favorite over Delgado. It's a little bit of MMA math, but it's a little bit of just like trying to check people's recency bias and think about how the line moves fight to fight. So I think it's a close fight. I'm going Delgado.
Let's go 2 for 2 or 2 and 2, I guess, on that. And we got a fellow Tyler in the chat. What's up, dude? Tyler Betts. Shout out to you for just showing up, being another Tyler. Let's go. Got to get a couple more of them in there, right? Nate says that you can see Delgado kicking the cup or grabbing the fence if Wood goes for takedowns because Delgado relies on his reflexes and instincts a lot, and that will lead to fouls. I could see that. That's kind of how you get a lot of eye pokes, is like the instinct to open your hands to grab something. So that makes sense. Same with the instinct of grabbing the fence and stuff. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I kicked that one off. That means it is Couch's turn to kick off the second most recently added fight. We have Walter Walker taking on Louis Sutherland, a couple of guys who had their fights recently changed. Couch, what do you got?
Interesting matchup. I mean, there's concerns on both sides because they were both recently booked. They've both been flying all over the place, more so Walker, but still, I think that it's tough on both of them. I do think that Walker should win. I do. I like Sutherland in general. I think he's going to get plenty of UFC wins. I think he's a great addition to the UFC heavyweight roster. We need it right now. He's relatively strong. He's a decent striker. He can wrestle a little bit. He's got decent takedown defense. He's tough. But Walker should be able to just take him down and submit him. Why can't Walker heel hook him? It's a meme at this point. It really is. It's a joke, but he keeps doing it. And until somebody who really knows how to defend gets there, I don't know why he wouldn't get it again if he tries. And if he doesn't and he just tries to wrestle, I also don't really see Sutherland, being able to stuff the takedowns or do anything really of substance to be able to win the fight. If for some reason they end up on the feet, yeah, Sutherland's a better striker, in my opinion. I don't think he's a great striker, but Walker's abysmal in the striking. And we have no reason to believe it's changed. Yes, it's been, 3 fights since the Breshke fight. Every single one of them ended in the first round. Every single one of them was a heel hook. We know nothing about his striking. And in fact, it looked horrendous when he was running into Kennedy, the way he essentially just tackled him while going like this. So, yeah, if somehow they end up on the feet, very winnable fight for Sutherland. But anytime Sutherland's fought a grappler, he's lost. He's made a good showing. He's looked tough, but he's lost. And I do think he's not going to be able to really stuff the takedowns from Walker. Walker is a really good wrestler. And he's 27 years old at heavyweight. That's a kid. That's a little kid at heavyweight. And he's only going to get better. He is training hard. He's at a good gym. So I do think that he should get it done. I think he's going to take him down. And realistically, I actually do think he's going to jump heel hook and he's going to get a 4th one. And then we'll see if he can go for 5.
If he gets 4, I think he ties the record for consecutive heel hooks with Paul Harris. Pretty sure.
I thought he's already in the lead and he's going to extend it. I could be wrong.
It might be for consecutive. He has the lead, but I think for in the UFC he doesn't have the lead.
Or Paul Harris's should count for 2 because
he just wouldn't let go,
and he never lets go.
Yeah, I think Paul Harris technically has the most heel hook finishes in the UFC, but Walker has the most consecutive. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. But
I think at this point the UFC just wants to see how many he can do in a row. They're okay, let's give him this guy. Let's see if he can do it.
Let's see if he can do it to this guy. Next thing you know, they're going to give him a guy with 4 legs or something. Be like, here you go. You got an extra shot. Anyway, Brady, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I am a Louis Sutherland fan for, his fights in Levels Fight League and, a couple appearances he's had. He has fought some reputable heavyweights along the way. It didn't always go his way, but I believed in Louis Sutherland when, in his last matchup. I thought that he was, I definitely had him to beat Tafa in that last matchup. Problem is, you go from preparing for a Tafa and now you're preparing for a Walter Walker. That is way different than the adjustment that Walter Walker has to make in this rebooking. Walter Walker, I would have nothing bad to say about this dude if he didn't lose that freaking UFC debut that he had in his clutches against Lucas Brzeski. And you look back, like Walter Walker in 4 fights, we might look back and be like, how in the hell did that guy lose to Lucas Brzeski? Like we've said with like certain UFC champions. You get a fast track up, the ladder at heavyweight when you're this slick of a submission artist, because most heavyweights are just not going to be able to have the agility to keep staving off those attacks if you have that in your arsenal. So, like, I think today I was still seeing like Walter Walker just by submission plus 120. That or bust, because I do think people are like just underrating the quality of Louis Southern a little bit. And if he was able to hit Walter Walker with a couple of hard punches, maybe it staves off a Walter Walker submission for a few more minutes and it ends up making it into round 2. That's the only thing that worries me about trying to thread the needle here and pick a round in which he submits him.
All fair points. I agree with that. And like Glenbot's saying, like the over 1.5 and Walker decision. I mean, heavyweight overs are a thing that I usually cash on, but with a guy that's coming off with 3 heel hook wins in a row, it's kind of like, I don't know about that. Free, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I'm on Walker. I think he's going to get the round 1 sub. You guys know better than me. You're like, Tyler, as a coach, as someone who grapples every day, there are certain submissions that are easier when you're wet and certain submissions that are almost impossible when you're wet. And I think heel hooks must come in round 1.
Yeah.
I think if you're fighting Walter Walker and your feet aren't a little greased up, you're a dumbass too. I have no idea how much Vaseline for like a week, a straight week, I would be saturating myself so that when I start sweating, I would get greasy, right? I think Walker's going to go for the heel hook immediately. He doesn't even have to get a takedown. He could do it from the clinch. He can just from striking. He's got 3 different heel hooks in 3 different ways, and he says he's got more setups we haven't seen. It's funny. I've got all the old UFCs on VHS and DVD, which then Fight Pass came out, and I was like, oh, well, fuck me and all my VHSs and DVDs, right? But like, it's interesting when you watch UFC 1, 2, 3, when you watch them all in order, and you see the trends when the Lions Den took over and started getting all the heel hooks. Well, the heavyweight division is just like 25 years behind all these good fighters. We're seeing in the heavyweight division what we saw in good fighter, like lighter fighters in 98. And it's going to be hard for anyone who's not elite to fight off these heel hooks for a while. Oil me up like Dana.
Yep. Oil them up.
I'm on Walker, and I think he's going to get the sub, and I think he's going to get the heel hook. And I think if you think that, you should lean round 1.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too. You're absolutely right that like certain submissions are way hard to get once you're like sweaty. Heel hook's one of them. I mean, like you can still get it, but it's exponentially harder. But things like, and people are always like, oh, but like a rear naked choke, they're all slippery now. No, you slip that sucker under the chin easier, man.
Whereas, but like a guillotine, you prefer to be dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but rear naked, I prefer the sweaty. That's why, like,
or blood. Yeah,
it's kind of like in the gi. It's so hard to just like to get the rear naked because it's hard to get deep enough under the chin because there's so much friction. Like you can do it. Don't get me. I'm not like saying you can't, but it's a lot harder than if you just got like a slippery forearm you can slip under there. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. For my thoughts on the matchup, yeah, I got Walker, of course. I did think Louis was going to beat Tafa, but that wasn't because I'm like, oh, Louis is a future prospect. It's more just because like it's Tafa. Like they just like are like they're just out there to lose at this point. So yeah, I think Walker probably gets it done. I think he probably is able to get the sub, but like heavyweight overs are one of my favorite things to play outside of the top 5. In the top 5, but outside the top 5, I love playing heavyweight overs. But like they're getting onto these, like they're just not as good as they were like a year or so ago. Like 2023 heavyweight overs were just like free money. Like you could get all the heavyweight overs at like over 1.5 at plus 200 here, plus 250 here. And it was just money. You were cashing them all. I remember cashing an over what was it? Like, it might've been like Tuivasa and Volkov over 1.5 and sweating profusely doing it. But like we cashed that at plus money, and I'm just like, what, why are they giving us these all the time? But you know, it's a thing. Now we don't get them. So I do think Walker probably gets him out of there in the first with a heel hook. However, if he doesn't, I think he can win a decision. I think he can lay and pray his way to a decision. He can't strike. Dude's striking. He has a decent step in knee. That is it. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. Walker probably wins, probably by heel hook. If not, he has to lay on him. We'll move on. We have Dul Kareem Al-Sawadi taking on Matias Camillo, I think is how you say that. And I believe it is Brady's turn to kick this one off. What do you got, Brady?
Yeah, Dan, this is a lame one to be going first on. So what this comes down to is I'm really happy this is pickup. It actually makes my decision easy because out of these two, there's one guy that I trust in his professional resume just a little bit more. And if it's pick'em, that's all you need. So it's also Al Salawati money line for me. I think pick'em's fine. I just trust him incrementally more as a professional fighter at this level than I do Camilo. And so, you know, so minus 110 seems like incredibly fair. If it was like minus 160, then you'd have to spend hours thinking about it. Like, but at Pick'em and this one, like, yeah, this truly is about as much of a toss up as Pick'em, except there's just one guy that's just proven it at this level just a little bit more, just against a little bit more quality competition.
Yeah, all fair points. Free, what are your thoughts?
A lot of folks might be a little unfamiliar with Camilo, so maybe I'll give it like a tiny bit extra on him. Young and improving guy, kind of well-rounded. He's not great at anything, not bad at anything. He's got good striking. He's kind of low volume, but like he'll throw 2 hooks in a combo and they both land perfectly. He's got really accurate. He's got really great. He's very accurate when he throws combos, but even those hooks that a lot of people just airball both. And he doesn't get overly looping. You know, he's not airballing all the time or anything. He's a little bit low volume, and I don't think he's got a ton of power. The guy he fought before, Gabe Green, Nabokov, he was blasting Nabokov with just a couple times, but like a comic book punch right on the chin, and Nabokov barely blinked, grabbed the plum, took him down. Camilo's been subbed in every single loss, but his ground game looks decent. The weird thing was against Gabe Green, he was having good moments, and then all of a sudden he makes one mistake. Gabe Green's got his back, and this guy it looked like he had a jaw injury because Gabe Green's on the chin. He lifts up his chin so that Gabe Green could get under the chin, and then he's tapping immediately. So the jiu-jitsu defense concerns are alarming. On the other side, ACAS, I'll call him for brevity, he's got some chin concerns. But if I ask you all, who's the UFC fighter who is like a cheat code as a coach? If you go train with this UFC fighter, you cannot lose. Who's that UFC fighter?
I mean, I was thinking Habib, but I don't know that. Is that
current
it?
Guy? A current guy?
Okay. Shoot. I don't know then. Who's a current guy?
Bilal.
Oh, dude. Yeah. He's been getting a bunch of guys winning now. That's good.
All these guys from Ignacio Bahamondes, Ramiz Brahma, but
Ignacio lost the last time though.
He did. But Ramiz, looked great recently. Like a lot of these guys are having resurgences. Everyone training with Bilal is looking better than they used to look.
Brendan Allen.
Not that they're unbeatable. That's what got me off the fence and made me pick El Salwati here is training with Bilal. It's just an incredibly tough fight. El Salwati could absolutely get KO'd here, but I'll take him by decision or submission.
Fair enough. Also, shout out to McPooperton, another channel member. Always great to see the channel members in the chat. You guys are absolute gems. So thank you for being here.
You get actual comments from Pooperton? He just comes on my stream and tells me he's pooping. That's it.
McPooperton's the man. He
never tells me oh, I think this guy will win. He just says, oh yeah, I pooped just now.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, we I get all the normal comments with him. He was there in our live chats for our contender series fight companions times too. Dude's out there doing the thing. So
SMH, Mr. Poopy. SMH.
I mean, it's I think it's because usually you have to go poop before you start the stream, and so you guys have that kinship.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like what was that? What was that movie from the early 2000s that they played battleships?
American Pie was Shipbreak.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you guys you can bond over those type of things. Like early 2000s, like teen movies. Like you guys could just sit there, watch them, and like poop together. I don't know. Whatever you guys gotta do.
Sounds like a grand old time.
Dude. Okay, what was I talking? Oh yeah, also Wadi versus Camillo. Okay, wild stuff. This fight is difficult, and I gotta say, a lot of people were really high on Camillo when he was coming into the matchup against Gabe Green. I was on Gabe Green, and I felt like I was on an island. Like I realized there were other people that were on Gabe Green, but not enough. I thought I watched the tape on Camillo, and I'm like, he's all right. And then also like debuts are really hard, but Gabe Green's not he's not a bum by any means. So I was like, I think like Gabe Green gets this done. And then Camille walks in that triangle and everybody's like losing their mind. I'm like, I don't think he has it. I really don't think it's in that deep. And it wasn't. And he got out, and that was it. And also Wadi is a step down, I would say, from Gabe Green. I don't think that's crazy to say. So I think he's a little bit more on Camillo's level. But at the same time, the style that he has, I think, is going to be a problem for Camillo because Camillo's grappling defense isn't the greatest. Like his grappling offense is pretty good. His grappling defense isn't great. He does get taken down, and obviously we've seen him get subbed in every single one of his losses, so that's a problem. Also, Wadi, though, like everybody says, he's been knocked out in every single one of his losses. So, like, it's, he get knocked out, but I don't think Camillo hits as hard as everybody thinks he does. So, like Free was saying, the dude's got all right power, but it's not like he's not a big power guy. So, yeah, I got to go with Al Sawadi as well. And I think he probably takes a decision. And I think it's going to be one of those things where he just spends the time on top. So, yeah, I'll take Al Sawadi to top time him and win this on the scorecards. Couch, what about you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff here in favor of Sawadi. I'm hesitant. I haven't made a play yet simply because I'm worried he's going to get chinned. Like, I do not like his chin. I do worry about it. He's been knocked out 4 times. And, like, Yoick hits hard, so it's kind of okay. But Yoick also knocked him out when he was really tired, so I don't love that. What's going on here?
I don't know. Are you guys able to see? I'm sharing my screen. Yeah,
just popped it up.
138 was one of very few guys on Gabe Green there.
Oh, there we go. Look at that, dude. You still have all those?
Oh yeah,
God,
you got multiple rubies this year. You've been the top expert multiple times.
That's right, brother. I've also had a lot of really bad weeks, so I can't really say too much. But, but anyway, dude, heck yeah, dude. All right, Couch, what were you saying?
But yeah, anyway, like I do like Camilo striking a lot. Certain parts of it. I'm a sucker for body work. If you have nice body work, a nice uppercut to the body, I'm already a fan, and he does it really, really well. And he does have really nice leg kicks, but outside of those two things, does he do much else on the feet? Not really. It's mostly body shots, nice leg kicks, and that's really it. Like, he doesn't have much else on the feet. He's not throwing a ton of volume. I do not like his takedown defense at all. Like, his takedown defense isn't bad, but also, like, that guy Nabatov, that's the only reason he was a favorite going against Gabe Green, was because he had that fight against Nabatov. Nabatov was the undefeated Russian. He came on the press conference. Dana signed me. Got the fight against Camilo. Camilo beat him. So that's where all the hype came from. But Nabatov, I don't think he's terrible, but he was exhausted. He was exhausted in the second and third round, and he still took down Camilo pretty much every single time he tried. And Camilo, to his credit, did get up pretty well. His get-ups are solid, but he's also happy to play off his back a lot of the time, looking for that triangle. He's got a fantastic triangle. But if that doesn't work, then what? We saw then what? Then he quit. Like, I'm sorry, but like he quit. That was a quit job. I don't know. I can't really back a guy like that when Sawadi is going to grapple. And people are kind of acting like, oh, Sawadi never goes for subs. Sawadi can't get a sub. I don't know where that comes from. Like, yes, he doesn't have a lot of subs. I don't know if he even has any, maybe earlier in his career. I don't remember off the top of my head. But if you look at like pre-UFC, Michael Murphy, for example, he was going for subs. He went for like 3 of them. He's trying on top. So I do think that if he comes out here and he's taking down Camilo, I do think a sub is on the table, especially once Camilo starts to slow down, because I don't like Camilo's cardio. And honestly, like on the feet, again, I really love the body work of Camilo. I really love the leg kicks. But if we're talking about like, okay, who's shown better boxing? I think Sawadi's shown better boxing. You look at the Hardwick fight. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of firepower coming back his way, but he did really good work. He was angling off. He was setting stuff up. He was defensively sound. So, yeah, I don't love his chin, but he's the much better grappler. I think he has more heart. I think that he has submission upside. I think that he's far more likely to win a decision. Better cardio. I don't know if I already said that. And also, let's not forget where we're at, right? We're in the Middle East. The judging, I'm sorry, but it's incredibly biased. The reffing is incredibly biased. And you have to consider it in all these fights, especially if you're betting close matchups. Like you essentially have to lay chalk on Camilo now because he's actually the favorite now, slight favorite. Like the judges very well might be biased towards Sawadi. They probably will be. So put that all together, and then you have Sawadi as the underdog now. I think he's the side. I'm just hesitant because of the chin and because I do think Camilo has a high ceiling if he can fix things up. He's still young. He's at Extreme Couture. If he fixes up the takedown defense, gets a little bit of cardio in him, stops quitting, and throws some more on the feet, I think he's good to go. I think he's a great prospect. I just don't know. Like, I unless he knocks out Sawadi, I don't think he's getting it done. So I'll pick Sawadi.
There you go. Yeah, and triangles are really hard to hit in MMA because you kind of just open yourself up to get hammer fisted in the face. And like in a vacuum, yes, you should be able to hold on to the triangle, like because your technique is good and you whatever. But that's all well and good until somebody starts hammer fisting you in the face while you're putting them in a triangle. And then the on paper, like, yes, you should be able to kind of goes out the window. Sometimes some people can, some people can't. So, but yeah, that's why submissions off your back is really tough. But
also one other thing, Camilo is also flying across the planet now to fight here. And already he's had cardio issues. So that might be another concern I just wanted to mention real quick.
Like Nate says, or you get slammed on your head. That's true. You can also get slammed on your head, which we've seen. Well, I don't remember what card it was where we got back to back.
It was just in my head. It was I don't remember what the card was, but it was the Selecki and it was the Brundage one.
Yep, but I don't remember what card it was either. But yeah, that was crazy. But on to the next one. We have Mateusz Rebecki taking on Ludovic Klein. I believe Free is kicking us off on this one. What are your thoughts, my friend?
This is one of the 3 or 4 fights I struggled with the most, the line, as the line would indicate. I'm picking Klein. He's got much bigger reach, and Rombeshki has taken a ton of damage lately. He just took a pretty big amount of damage 2 months ago against Chris Duncan, and he's already back again. He's got an incredibly short reach. Klein's got a pretty darn long reach. On the Klein, if you're on the Rombeshki side, you could say Klein hasn't really looked that great recently. Like his takedown defense on paper used to be 91%. Well, it was inflated. Gamrot just exposed him. It's not that good. Rombeshki might be able to wrestle here. But I don't know. I think if you look at their wins, Klein has beat far superior guys. I think Muktibek Orobai should have beat Rombeshki if he wrestled in round 1. You're fighting a gas bag power puncher with terrible takedown defense, and you strike with him all round 1 to get your eye all busted up, and you let Rombeshki win as a big underdog. If Muktibek chose better fight IQ there, Rombeshki would be on a pretty good little losing streak here. So I'm on Klein. I'm not overly confident.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned the damage because that's actually why I picked Klein. It's not like because I was struggling with who to pick on this one as well, but then it's just the amount of damage that Rombeshki has absorbed in his last however many fights, and not even that long ago. That's kind of why I decided I think Klein gets it done, and it's not because I think Klein's like leaps and bounds better than him. Like I said, You can't just keep fighting after taking all that damage. And especially against a guy like Klein, who it's not like he has pillow fists. Like the dude hits pretty hard and his kicks are brutal. So like, I know that Mateusz is a tough dude. Like he's shown that he's durable, but dude, you can only take so many, like just cumulative damage. You can only take so much of it before it's just too much. So yeah, I ended up siding with Klein, but I don't feel great about it. It's one of those where it's like, you probably just watch this one and you'd probably feel better about it later. Hold on. What? Okay. -160 Gamrot versus Klein saved me from eating chickpeas for a week. Okay.
He's saying they hammered that and it was a steal.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like had to go some weird bet where he could only eat chickpeas if he lost or something. I'm like, what is going on with you, my friend?
Bro, it's like our
Okay.
old lentil joke, Tyler. Come on. Remember our roots.
Okay.
Remember our roots.
My wife hates it when I bring this up, but she has a great joke about chickpeas. I don't know. I don't think I can get her to tell it because she's over there chilling right now. I don't think but like, I have to get her to tell it to me again before I can remember it. But yeah.
Is it about a political person?
No, actually.
Oh, because there's ones about like, well, I've never had a, he never was in Russia with a garbanzo bean on his face.
It's very similar to that. It's something very similar to that. Yes, because garbanzo beans and chickpeas are the same thing. It's great. It's really funny.
Except one.
Let's see. What's Dixon talking here? So Dixon says, "What can I do to make my knee feel better? The front part of my foot turned to the side. Okay,
cut it off."
Ooh, I mean, dude, yeah. Like I'm the worst to ask for that because my advice has always just been rub some dirt on it and like. It'll go away eventually. And if it doesn't, you'll get used to it. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, brother. Just rub some dirt on it. And if it doesn't go away, you'll get used to the pain. So that's where I'm at. Couch, what you got on this fight?
I like Rebecca. I like Rebecca. I think he's a tough matchup for Klein. I don't love the fact that he got the mind my language. I don't love that he got really messed up last time out. He took a lot of damage, and that was only 2 months ago. And he's taken a lot of damage in his last 3 fights. He's absorbed a lot of strikes. So I do have my concerns. So far, the durability is holding up, though. So far, I'm okay with it. And I also don't think that Klein has a ton of power in his hands. I am a Klein fan. I've backed him many, many times. I faded him. I think I have a solid read on him. I think he's a great fighter. But I just think this is tough for him because he needs space. He needs space to operate. He needs space for those kicks. I think that kicks are his best weapon. I don't think that he's a great boxer. I don't think that he's great in the pocket. And Rebecca's not going to give him any space. You have to put him away or he's not going to give you any room. Rebecca's going to be on the front foot the entire time. He's going to be backing up Klein over and over again. I think he's going to throw more volume. And if someone does have wrestling success, I do think it's going to be Rebecca. I don't think it'll be easy. I don't think that, I don't think that Gamrot exposed Klein's takedown defense like some people are saying. I just think that, up until that point, Klein has fought more traditional wrestlers, people shooting more traditional takedowns. And I do think that his takedown defense against that kind of stuff is very, very good. He does all the right things. The underhooks immediately, hand control immediately, fighting those hands. The hips are good. Reaction speed is good. It's just that, Gamrot came in there, started shooting the low singles, and he did not have an answer to that. Rebecca's not going to grapple like that, but Rebecca's going to throw more heat standing. And because of that, I do think it'll open up some opportunities for takedowns. And at the end of the day, I just think that his cardio is better. He does slow down sometimes, but I think it's better than Klein's. And I think that Klein is a really good hammer, but a poor nail. I think that when fights are going Klein's way, when it's a clean fight, he looks fantastic. Or when, sometimes he'll be fighting a striker and he doesn't love what's happening on the feet. He'll mix in the grappling, then he's comfortable. But if he can't do that, and if it's not a clean fight, I think he gets very uncomfortable and he can break. So I think Rebecca's the perfect guy to break him. And I also think he's a great guy to back at plus money. He's a guy who will fight for your money and you can do a lot worse. So I like Rebecca here. I think he gets it done.
There we go. We got 2 on Klein, 1 on Rebecca.
That whole breakdown was fire.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Brady, what side are you on? Are you making it to an even split or are you ganging up on Couch here?
Now, to briefly expand on what the last 2 folks have said. So I do think eventually the damage is going to wear on Rebecca in a devastating way. But I just don't think it's yet. I think he's got a little bit more time, like being in these crazy wars. And, if he finishes some fights early, it extends his career maybe by 3 years. So I just don't think it's yet that it's like really going to show its wear. And, I don't think this is an unstoppable force versus an immovable object, but I think it's a force versus an object, like in more simple terms. Like I think like Rebecca is just a hard guy to sit there and like stay comfortable against. And I think, I think Klein's going to need that. And really like in a fight where I think like their last handful of fights, like really the quality of everything more or less is pretty close to even. This is a fight where if you can get an underdog who has a junkyard dog quality in a fight where I think that's going to make a massive difference, I'm going junkyard underdog every single time.
There you go. Look at that. Split 2-2. Love to see it. That shows how close this fight really is, honestly. So I like it. Let's see. So I guess that puts it to me, unfortunately. Okay. Oh man, here we go. Ikram Aliaskarov and Jun Young Park. Oh boy. Okay. So here's the deal. Like, I lean slightly that Ikram probably wins, especially if it goes to decision. I feel like it's kind of one of those things where, like, if it's close enough, he's probably still going to get the win.
Okay.
Like, I think so, especially with what we've seen lately. And it's not like I don't think it's even so much that they're blatantly trying to cheat in certain parts of the world. I think that the bias is just so deep that it's kind of like it's just
they're cheating, bro. They're cheating.
So maybe they are, but then there's also the like, so I don't know necessarily, like, so you see like guys that aren't from that region but are working the event. Part of me thinks that they just don't want to anger the locals. Like, I don't think they're intentionally trying to cheat, but they're trying to like save their own butts, kind of.
I think they're bought out, bro. Tell me how on earth, what human being, even if they have no mixed martial arts knowledge at all, can watch Paul Hughes versus Usman or Magomedov 2 and score it 50-45?
Yeah, that because
fine. Say Usman won 4 rounds. Fine. I think that's wrong. I think that's incorrect, but okay. But to score 50-45, that scorecard had to be pre-filled. It had to be, and I don't accept anything else because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Usman won, but I don't think he won 5-0. I think he won 3-2. But there was one round that, like, there's just no way you gave it to him. So, like, I'm with you there. But yeah, so, okay. So I'm with that. With that said, I'm not interested in parlaying up Ikram because I think Jun Young Park has a nasty style that is hard to handle. And the only thing I'm really interested in is like late Jun Young Park props. But I haven't gotten there yet. Like I said, I don't have hardly any bets on this card, unfortunately. So this is not good so far because we've only talked me into one so far. But the round 3 Jun Young Park, you can get it at Cloudbet, which is actually a sponsor of mine. So they're fantastic. Plus 2,136 or Jun Young Park to win in round 3. That might be worth throwing $10 on for me. And like, I'm picking the opposite side. Like I'm picking Ikram to win for the sake of a pick. I want that to be clear. I think he wins. I think he probably gets a decision because Park's hard to get out of there. But dude, at over plus 2,000 on Park in round 3, when I think he turns it up in round 3, is there value, or is it going to be one of those things where like it'll look like he's about to get it and it'll feel like there's value and then it doesn't happen anyway? So who cares? You're still at $10, which whatever. So I don't know. I'm going to take Ikram. I still might get to Park round 3. Couch, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really want to take Park. I haven't yet, solely for the reason I just said when you were talking, like because of where we're at. If this was anywhere else, I would already be on Park, and I might end up there anyways. I think that he's a very live underdog. I think he has a very viable path here. If I back this guy at plus 200 and he looks like the right side and he ends up obviously winning at least 29-28, and then he gets Carlos Lee out, like I told you before the show, like all of a sudden we hear 30-27, 29-28, 29-28, Ikram Aliskerov. Like, I'm going to lose it. So for my mental health, it might be better to just not bet it. I'll probably end up there anyways. I'm just kind of hoping for a better line, which I probably won't get because money continues to go on Park, and I understand why. Like, yes, Ikram, in my opinion, is a better striker than Park. I think he's a little bit faster. I think he hits a little bit harder, and I think that his jiu-jitsu is a little bit better, and I do think that his wrestling's better, but he's gassy. He hasn't left the first round in 5-6 fights since he got to the UFC. Before that, it was Nishan Burrell. He just out-grappled him. Like, fine, Burrell's like, he's a decent regional journeyman. Like, he's a tough guy. Okay, fine. Decision there. And he had the really greasy decision with Chad Hanekom. You can say that was a while ago. It was, but it was a pretty gross kind of look. And I just think that, yeah, early, he can knock out Park, even though Park is durable. Like, he can be hurt. That's the thing with Park that I don't like. I don't like his defense. So I do think that Aliskerov can take advantage. I do think that Aliskerov can take down Park, but I also think that Park's boxing is going to be competitive with Aliskerov on the feet, especially after the first round when Aliskerov's not as explosive, not as powerful. And I think that if Aliskerov is starting to slow down, Park is in his face, making him back up. We know that's really hard for fighters. We know that drains the gas tank. And then he starts shooting too. His wrestling's not as good as Ikram's, but if Ikram is getting tired and Park just keeps shooting while backing him up, while throwing boxing combinations, while popping the jab, I can see Park start to take him down. I don't think he'll finish him or submit him. I think it's possible in the third round if Ikram's really gassed. And like you said, Tyler, the number is kind of crazy, but I think that Park money line is a good bet. I'm just having a hard time getting there simply because of where they're fighting. But like, I'll pick Ikram. I do think all around he's a little bit better, and the judges will favor him. But I think there's a very good chance that Park, wins this fight and takes over late doing it.
All fair, all fair. Brady, what are your thoughts?
This is my most lukewarm fight of the entire card, and I have done different things in different platforms, like Ikram, knocking everybody out in the first round. Yeah, his loss was a way too early, crazy hype train before that Robert Whittaker fight. It's I don't know, the guy that's knocked out Park was RoboCop. Where do I think Aliskerov is on the spectrum between, replacement level and RoboCop in terms of knockout power? I don't know, because they're different kinds of strikers. But also, I think that the most safe set of outcomes is Ikram by decision or by knockout. I think that because where it is, and also if in the first round, if Park's defensive flaws show through and he gets hurt, and Ikram takes the first round, and then even if he's gassed, if he lands one hard punch in the second round, he wins it, and then they will find a way to give him 29-28. So, because Park is just he's like the Stevie Johnson of MMA fighters, like a guy that just his mechanics, nothing about it makes sense and can't be explained. Why is this guy good? I don't know, but he just is in very strange ways. His head's shaped weird. His body's shaped weird. He looks like he's from another planet virtually. And it feels wrong to pick against him as an underdog against someone so unproven. For all of these, this is my least favorite fight of the card as far as trying to narrow down what I think will happen.
Fair enough. Yeah, all fair points. The other planet thing cracked me up for real. Free, what are your thoughts?
It is tough. The Ikram cardio is an unknown. He did look a little slow in the round 3 against Burrell. But I do just think he's a little bit better overall. Park always has strong round 3s, so I agree with everything you guys said. And I think if you're picking Park, you should either live bet him after round 1, after he surely takes a beating, and or bet him by a round 3 or decision, like you guys mentioned. This fight is almost binary enough that you could round robin. If there's one guy that can only win by submission and the other guy can only win by KO. You put those 2 legs with another very binary fight, and then it's just 4 bets where you're trying to hit a 2-leg wild parlay. This is almost that binary where you go Ikram, KO 1 or 2, Park round 3 or decision. Overall, I'm picking Ikram. I thought I was going to parlay him, but I'm a little nervous about the round 3 comeback for Park. I'm thinking a straight bet on Ikram with the early KO might be better. I do think Ikram's a little overrated. I think his wrestling's a little overrated, but I like his processes. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys grapple and coach, and the way that he chains everything together. I almost want to say it's unparalleled. I almost want to say it's the best processes in the division. He's not the strongest. He's not the best wrestler in the division, but the way that he goes from step to step, I think might be one of the best in the division. I really like him. I think his striking's a little overrated, but he's got solid power. And last, 2 fights ago against Brad Tavares, we saw Park get dropped by a jab early in round 1. I think the Park durability is not terrible, but not 100% anymore.
I do want to add one other thing that I meant to add this at the beginning is a lot of people point out that Whittaker knocked out Ikram pretty easily, but something that people forget about that fight is Ikram made weight the week before, and his opponent like just dropped out that day, right? So was it the Paul? I can't remember what fight it was. It was either that or what's his face? That tall, lanky guy that isn't Tricoli. It was one of those type of things. But either way, it was Ikram's opponent made or didn't show up, right? And so Ikram then the next week flies from Vegas to was it like Saudi or was it a UAE? One of those, like somewhere in the Middle East. And everybody's like, oh, he's the more regional guy. Sure, but he was just in Vegas, just made weight, and then he had to make weight again a week later. So I give him a little bit more of a pass with that one. Like that's his worst UFC performance by far, and I give him it's not a total pass because he still lost the fight, but it's something I add to it. But also
he didn't look terrible, but then he got hurt with the jab. Everyone remembers the uppercut that finished him, but he was on chicken legs because of a jab. And my gosh, what a great point that back-to-back weight cuts hurting that durability quite relevant. Because he didn't look terrible. He didn't look outmatched. He looked like he fit in the octagon with Bobby until he took the jab.
Yeah, you just can't cut weight like that. Like it's hard to do. So I mean, we've seen it a bunch. Anytime people do back-to-back weight cuts, they just don't look good. So shout out to Barry. What's up?
That's why I don't diet or anything.
Yeah, exactly right. Right? Just kidding. That shouldn't hurt your chin. Dieting shouldn't hurt your chin. Don't just stay hydrated. Shout out Barry in the chat. Also, I wish it would pop up on the screen. The custom emojis when we go through StreamYard don't pop up for some reason. But shout out to all the people. They show up on the YouTubes. So
that sounds like a badass emoji right there.
Yeah, so there's a sacred whiteboard emoji. There's like a bunch of there's some other cool ones. I don't know. You get access to those being a channel member. McPooperton's the only one that ever uses them, but they're cool. So anyway, I think everybody went on that one. We can move on. I started it off, so that'd be Couch starting off the next one. We got Haqparast and Salkilled. Nasrat Haqparast, Quillen Salkilled, the most recently added fight on the card. Couch Warrior, what are you at?
Great fight. And I can understand why people like Nasrat. He's the veteran. He's had a lot more fights than Salkilled, a lot more UFC fights, obviously. Very good striking, very good output. He's been doing very well recently. The Ribovich fight was a great look. I just think this is a tricky matchup for him. When's the last time Haqparast actually faced real takedown attempts by a bigger guy? I know that Jared Gordon went 0-13 on them. And he still almost won the fight, arguably did win that fight. But you go back to, for example, Dan Hooker, a striker who came out there and just took down Haqparast at will, looked like a D1 wrestler. I didn't like that. And since then, outside of that Gordon fight, no one's really trying that hard to take down Nasrat, and no one's really putting him on his back, so we don't really know what he's going to look like there. And Salkilled, I think, is a great wrestler. I rate him very highly. I think that his jiu-jitsu is very solid, and I think that he's very big and physical, and I think he is going to take down Nasrat, and I think that he is going to plant him on his back, and I think that Nasrat's going to struggle, especially as that would be good, Pooperton, but especially as the fight goes on. I know people are saying oh yeah, Quillen doesn't have good cardio. He slowed down in round 3 against Ashmuz. Ashmuz gave him a brawl in that fight. You watch any other fight of Quillen's, he's not slowing down. He's not. He paced Don Marfan 2 times. The guy's going to be fighting soon on the road to UFC finals. He's got great cardio, in my opinion. And I think that if you force Nasrat to grapple, his cardio is not as great as it looks when he gets the fight he wants, which is a kickboxing affair. And I don't think he's going to get a kickboxing affair here. If for some reason Salkilled can't take him down or doesn't try to, 100% Nasrat will beat him up. I think he will. He's a much better striker. I think the body work will be there all day. And Salkilled can sometimes lower his hands a little bit too much, and Nasrat can probably touch the chin. But I think that Salkilled will be competitive on the feet as well. And it's this isn't the first time. Remember when Nasrat fought Landon Quinones? That was a huge step up for Landon. And Landon fought very, very well. And that was a very competitive fight. And Nasrat ate a lot of shots there. And there wasn't much wrestling there. So I think that Salkilled, I don't love that he's on short notice. And Haqparast was, preparing to be on the card, even though he never had an official opponent. So, on one hand, I get it when people are saying that. On the other, he wasn't preparing for a grappler. He wasn't preparing for a guy who's going to shoot 8 to 10 times and get those takedowns, and you'll get up and he'll go again. He wasn't preparing for a 6 foot tall lightweight, 25-year-old young buck too. So for me, There's a lot of upside on the Salkeld side. I do worry about some things, of course, the short notice nature. Again, Hawkpross is going to be the one who's being favored by the judges here. I worry about those things for sure. But I just think that, you know, if you can get plus money on Salkeld, I think that's the side. I think plus money on either guy is fine and makes reasonable sense to me. I don't think either one is a bad bet. But overall, I like Salkeld here. I just really like his grappling. I really like his game. And I think he has a higher ceiling and more room for improvement. So I'm going to rock with Salkeld here.
I like it. I like it. Brady, what are your thoughts?
I do think that Salkeld has more ways to win this fight. And this is, I think, a line to keep an eye on to see how it changes, like, you know, in the next few days in particular. But I'm going Nasrat here on the thinking of Salkeld is taking a big step up in competition. Nasrat is already a guy that has this skill set that, like, he can make fights close even when they might not even be that close. It's like Karate Hottie or Carlos Barza. Like, you just knew, like, if like they were going to go 3 rounds and there was going to be, you know, 2 29-28s in one person's favor. Like, that Nasrat just invites you into that kind of fight. And it's gone well for him, you know, more times than not. I think, like, you know, I think Salkeld is very talented. Obviously, he's a very good wrestler. But, like, in this step up in competition, it makes 8 to 9 takedowns, you know, in a fight look just like maybe not as sustainable. Even with, you know, Nasrat's best defense is that, like, he somehow, like, sometimes just, like, tricks people into not doing what would maybe be best in their favor. I don't know how he's Cobra-like. I don't know how to explain that better. But, you know, I think that is a lot of an uphill battle for Salkeld on the short notice. Nasrat's just very, you know, solid and consistent. And, you know, at those odds, I'm comfortable with that.
So far, we're 1-1. Free, what are your thoughts on this matchup? Which side do you like?
Pre-tape, I thought I was going to like Quillen. Post-tape, I'm leaning Nasrat. I like doing takedown props and laddering them. And so initially I was like, ooh, baby, you know, Quillen to get 6, 7, 8 takedowns. Can't wait. But I do think the Nasrat takedown defense looked really good against Jared Gordon. Like, none of the shots were even close. And he had lots of really well-timed level changes, lots of diverse options in the cage, against the cage, in the middle of the octagon. And Nasrat was stuffing all of them. Both of these guys, their problem recently has been bad round 3s. You know, Nasrat had a close round 1 and 2 against Esteban. I think Nasrat won those. And then round 3, Esteban was putting it on him, almost had him KO'd, kind of saved by the bell situation. And then against, Jared Gordon, he kind of slowed down there. And it was something of a grueling fight. But then Quillen, same deal. Unable to get takedowns late. You know, Yanal Ashmu's putting it on him in round 3. Quillen, like, hanging on for his dear life in survival mode, you know, against Ashmu's. So subpar round 3s. You know, when you look at the resumes, it's a vast discrepancy. Obviously, everyone knows that. The hometown edge does factor into my Nasrat pick. And if Quillen, you know, goes for 20 takedowns and gets 3 and Nasrat's cleaner on the feet, I'm confident the judges are going to pick Nasrat.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we're going to have another even split. I'm on the Salkeld side, but not by a lot, mostly because of the really short notice for him. It's tough. Like, you're coming in from the land down under and you got to go all the way into the Middle East. And that's like, it's a long trip, right? I think Salkeld's very good. I think he could, something that I think a lot of people are not mentioning is the kicking ability of Salkeld. I think he can keep Nasrat at kicking range when he's not shooting it on takedowns. And I think he can just eliminate the boxing range that Nasrat really wants and really needs. I don't think he can do it the whole fight, but I think he can do it enough to edge out a decision. Then again, can he edge out the decision here? That's a different story. I'm going to take Salkeld, but it'll probably be one of those that I end up just watching because, I don't like a lot of the variables that we're getting in this one. So splits us up 2-2. No big deal. It is a very close fight on the line, and that makes a lot of sense. I think, Plus 102 is the best line available for Salkild that I'm seeing, and minus 106 is the best line I'm seeing for Hack Press. So yeah, makes sense that we're kind of torn on this one. We can move to the main card, and for the main card, Brady's kicking this one off. We have Alexander Rakic taking on Azamat Murzakanov. What are your thoughts, Brady? Who do you like?
This one is like, this one is partially coming from places not from. This is a pick a little bit with the heart involved in that, like, dude, I still think that Alexander Rakic, like, something left in him with how unfortunately, like, some of those, last few years before he got active again went. And it's crazy that I am going to be on the side of a dude whose last 2 wins came against Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos over 4 to 5+ years ago. And before then, it was a knockout against Jimmy Manoa in 2019. It's crazy that that's the side that I'm going to be on, but I will, because one, after when you come back, when he fought Jan Blachowicz and got knocked out in round 3 in, a fight that had been competitive to that point, at that time in 2022, that was very understandable. Jan was doing that to plenty of people. You get knocked out by Jiri 2 years later. Okay, yeah, that's what Jiri does to people. That's what Jiri does to pretty much everybody else in the world except for one dude. And then the last fight against Ankalaev, while Ankalaev just did start to steadily get more and more comfortable and started picking Rakic apart on the feet and did the greater damage, Rakic definitely had his moments in that fight. These bursts that he comes forward with. And here's the thing about Azamat, and it's so frustrating to type in this name into UFC Fight Pass to start rewatching stuff, just one letter at a time. But Murzakanov, I'm not. It makes me even less comfortable that, like, this dude, his last win was Brinson Ribeiro, and like Alonzo Minifield and Dustin Jacoby. That's just enough to get a hype train behind you and get people really excited. And this is a guy that is so much more athletic than he looks. He just, like, it's deceptive. He's that dude, playing in pickup basketball that it's like, that guy used to play like JUCO basketball. So, what Murzakanov had over Dustin Jacoby is that Dustin Jacoby is, a lot more volume, touch and go, like, varies his strikes well. And it just doesn't do enough, like, against a guy like Murzakanov who comes forward explosive and you can hear the punches land. It's just not going to, like, hold up well as the fight goes on. But Rakic, this is a guy who, has this crazy size for light heavyweight, who presents a lot of the, challenges that Dustin Jacoby did towards Murzakanov, but without the clear, like, skill set mismatches that I think there'd be. Like, Rakic, I think, has the ability to, control the distancing of this fight more. I think Murzakanov might have to rely on, forward explosions. And I think he's going to put himself in danger when doing that. And I think when it's time for Rakic to charge forward, I think Murzakanov is going to get caught. So, I'm glad that this is like pick'em right now, because that's as far as I could pick for an outcome. So Alexander Rakic, please, for the love of God, show us that you can still do this at this level. And I'm going Rakic money line.
All right, we got one for Rakic. Free, what are your thoughts?
That was a really good breakdown. I always pick Rakic. He always looks great early, and then something shitty always happens. When we think of Rakic, we think, oh my gosh, this is a step down for Rakic, step up for Azamat. And it's not to say that's inaccurate, but if Rakic had beat Dustin Jacoby, that would be Rakic's best win. Azamat's wins are better than Rakic's wins, and that's a fact. He beat Anthony Smith in part of a 5-8 run. He beat Thiago Santos in part of a 1-7-1 run. This fight, I think Rakic is going to be on the back foot, throwing a ton of low kicks, as we know. Azamat's going to be pressing forward, trying to close the distance. and I could see it going over. Like I really struggle with the prop here because we could see KOs, of course, but I think we could see it going over. And I think if it goes over and Azamat is advancing forward and he's got a V in his last name, he's going to get it done. I have like zero confidence on this one. I would love if one of them was a bigger dog, you know? So I feel like Rakic is the far better fighter, but Azamat's got the better win, strangely.
Yeah, that is a strange point that you bring up, and I actually just checked his record, and it kind of made me realize I've actually bet against Rakic in every single fight of his since 2020. So that's odd.
Jealous because I've been on Rakic a bunch.
Yeah, well, see, I lost 2 in a row on him because like I bet Thiago and Smith against him, but then it started coming back around. So that was,
of course you bet Smith.
See, that's the thing. I always bet on Smith. He's like,
I know you do.
He's a little
I'm so glad he retired so I can stop losing money betting on him. Like he just lives down the road. Like I feel like a jerk. Just like I'm like, oh, Smith's a live dog, man. He lives right down the street. I can't like not like. Oh,
that's
man.
so funny. Tower's relieved that he doesn't have to lose money backing Smith anymore.
Yo, but like when he fought Petrino, dude won me a bag.
He did us good with Petrino. He did us good there.
He did. So, you know, and every now and then you're like, yo, Smith just like cashed a big one. But like towards the end, it was tough. But on the way up, dude was making us money, or anybody that was on the Smith train. Either way. With that said, here's the thing about Rakic. I think he's going to land the leg kicks for sure. I think he's going to do a really good job there. When he's throwing his combinations with his hands, he will drop his hands mid-combination. Like instead of having one hand at the chin and one punching, they will both end up down while he's throwing. Murzakinov's got one thing going for him that is better than just about anybody in the division, and that's how fast he can close distance with a lightning shot, like of a shot, like just a powerful punch that is extremely fast. It looks supernatural. I think he's going to put him out. I think Murzakinov puts out Rakic, and I think he's going to be losing the minutes, and I think he's going to win the fight with a knockout. So I got Azamat by knockout. I think he's going to be able to I think he can catch him on one of those combinations. I think it's going to be one of those things where Rakic is like, he's piecing him up for a little bit. He's doing his thing, and then all of a sudden, that's it. But Couch, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've never been a Murzakanov guy ever. I'll never forget when I tried to fade him with Tafon, and Tafon was doing the damn thing, and then he got knocked out. That sucked. I'll give credit where credit's due. Murzakinov's very fast. He's very explosive. He does close the distance very well. He's got good boxing. He does clearly have power. But I think he's gassy. I think he's very clearly undersized. He's in the wrong weight class, in my opinion. He should be at middleweight. I think he can easily make it. And I just don't think his cardio is very good. I also think that his grappling is not that good. And I think if you try to take him down, you probably can. I think that if Rakic uses the jab, the leg kicks, specifically the leg kicks and the body kicks, if he just spams that, I think that Murzakinov's going to have nothing left by the third round. Because if you hit those leg kicks, there goes the movement, because Murzakanov depends on that movement. That's how he's winning these fights. And then blast the body, he's going to start to get even more tired than he normally does. I think Rakic is also going to be a lot stronger in the clinch. The size difference is massive. If he is able to maintain that distance, like I said, the jab should be money. And I think that he can go for takedowns too. So I think Rakic is the side. I don't have a bet yet. I would like more plus money just because I think that Rakic, like his mental isn't there a lot of the time. He just has brain farts and falls apart. And I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to lose money because of that. So if I'm going to get involved, I need a little bit better of a price tag. I don't hate like a round 3 decision kind of prop. I don't hate the number there. I don't hate the decision prop in general on Rakic. And you got to remember, the record's ugly, yes, but it's 3 former champs in a row. Ankalaev, former champ, Jiri, former champ, and Jan Blachowicz, former champ. And the Jan fight was very competitive. It was an injury that put him out. So you can decide yourself if he lost that fight or not. Obviously on the record he did, but you know what I mean? And then with the Jiri fight, I was on Jiri there, and he clearly Rakic won that first round. It's just Jiri does Jiri things. Look at him in his last fight. Khalil shut him out for 2 rounds. Jiri woke up. He's like, oh yeah, I need to do something, and just put him away. So I think Rakic should win this fight, but I'm hesitant because he has brain farts.
God, I was on Roundtree decision like plus 650 or something, bro.
Yeah. Dude, I bet that
rough.
hurt. I bet like that like makes your stomach churn.
I stayed away because I've had very bad reads on Roundtree. Like I just can't get him right. I never think he's that great, and then he just keeps getting it done. So I was very hesitant to do it against Jiri. And for the first 2 rounds, I didn't play anything. For the first 2 rounds, I was like, thank God I didn't play Jiri. Thank God. And then round 3 happens, and I'm like, of course.
It's amazing. I can't decide if he's like the best bad fighter or the worst good fighter, you know? Like he's
somewhere in between.
He's aura. He's got aura. If there's one thing we can say, like there's some fight, like some divisions in UFC, some champions are kind of boring. But man, light heavyweight, we've got like 2 comic book characters at the top of the division. It's awesome.
You guys remember when Jiri was fighting? I think it was one of the Pereira fights, and somebody posted on Twitter like a picture. They like went in front of this. They were in front of the stadium at like 2 in the morning or like 1 in the morning, and Jiri's just standing in front of the stadium, staring at the stadium, just staring at it. Like the most absurd, ridiculous thing. And that's what this man is up to the night before his title fight. I love the guy.
I love him.
It's so corny though. Oh man. Like somebody got upset with me on Twitter, and somebody that I even like. I get because I said that like I just can't get behind the like goofy samurai gimmick. And like I think it's because so many people really like Yuri, and I get it, but like, man, it's just so corny. He's so corny.
See, he's devoted to it, man. He's devoted.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if he half-assed it, okay, it's cringe. But he's so in it. Like, you go on his opponent's Instagrams. They're training. They're in camp. They're doing pads. They're sparring. You go on Yuri's page. He's on a mountain howling. He's smacking a piece of wood over and over again. Like, I mean, he's so in it that it's like, I'm fine with it. Like, just do your thing, Jiri. Never change.
Oh gosh, like it's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I understand why people like it. It's just not my thing. Is the deal? But it's okay. Like it's totally fine. Yeah, he's got his master's degree, but like it's not.
Also, his reasoning for the master's degree, it was like something to do with him being a better fighter.
Okay, well, so we looked this up, my wife and I, because we're like, no way. It's in like security solutions. So it's like, okay, it's not like it's something that takes a whole lot of like studying for.
He literally said in an interview he only did it for like to get better at fighting. Yeah. I don't remember the exact wording, but that's the most Jiri thing ever. Like anything but actually training in the gym. That's what Jiri's up to.
Yeah. Yeah, dude could be out there being like, yeah, I heard that playing Chinese checkers is really good for your strategy in a fight. So I started, I don't know, guys, he's a character. That is absolutely right. We got a few fights left. Let's move on to the next one so we still can get through all these. Alexander Volkov, Jailton Almeida, free UFC bet picks kicking this one off. What are your thoughts?
I'm a longtime Jailton guy. I'm picking Jailton here, but I'm increasingly nervous, and I don't have him in any parlays or anything. I was really impressed by the Sergey Spivak win. Historically, my Jailton thing was the same as my early Bo Nickel career thing, which was everyone's going with the round 1 submission. I'm going with the round 2 KO, and it's paid off, or like round 2 and the KO round 2, and it's paid off on both, but now the books have caught up. The over 1.5 here is slightly chalky. They know that Jailton likes ground and pound here, and I almost lean, for this fight to go to a decision, and I would lean for Volkov to be valuable in that situation. But again, the Sergey Spivak fight was really impressive to me from Jailton, and I think he's leveling up here. So it's a new Volkov. We can talk about the level of competition. Volkov was fighting the best in the world even before he became this new Solkov level 2 Pokemon version of old Alexander Volkov, and now he's even better than he's ever been. We all know he should be fighting for the title on Saturday, not gone. We all know he won that fight, but I thought for a long time that Jailton is a champ, perhaps a 2-division champ someday. And I don't think he's beaten Tom. I'm a Tom guy, but I just think that's the opinion that I have of Jailton, and a lot of us have of Jailton. I'm on Jailton. I don't think I'll have a bet here. I wanted to bet like fight to start round 2 at plus money, but sadly it's not.
Yeah, those days are gone. For me, I'm biased as heck. Volkov's my favorite heavyweight on the roster, so I'm team Volkov. I pretty much just bet him in every fight. That it's, you know, and he's almost always an underdog. So I'm going Volkov. Look at that. The chat's also on Volkov. Manu's on it. We had Mind Freak on it a minute ago. Volkov's just such a likable guy, you know?
Yes.
For like a towering Russian dude, like dude's got so much personality as opposed to a lot of the like the real like stoic Russians you see. Volkov's hilarious. Like this dude's a character. So yeah, he's too likable. I'm biased as heck. I'm picking Volkov, whether it's because he's good or because I'm biased. I've been watching the dude since Bellator, and like I've been a big fan the whole time. So, Couch, what about you?
I think his fighting style, I'm so sorry, Couch. I think his fighting style is just really respectable too. He just gets after it. He doesn't, you know, there's just so much to like about the guy.
Oh, yeah, everything. It's hard to not like him. So I'm with it. Couch?
Yeah, funny enough, Volkov is also my favorite heavyweight fighter. I think it's a tie between him and Aspinall. It's close, but I've liked Volkov longer, so we'll go with him as my favorite. I love the dude. I love his style. I love his striking. I love the teep kicks, and the teep kicks could be money here if they don't end up with him on his back because Charlton catches them. But, you know, like Volkov is a very popular underdog this week, and to an extent, I get it, but I think a lot of it is, okay, Volkov should have beaten Gane. He got robbed. He should be fighting for the title. He should win this fight. I think a lot of that boils down to that. And realistically, if this is on the feet, it's Volkov all day. Almeida is improving in the striking. He did show that a little bit in the Spivak fight. Up until then, it's always kind of been just a jab and a body kick for Almeida. He's starting to put it together a little bit more, but clearly if this is on the feet, like it's Volkov all day, he's a way better striker. I just don't think Volkov's keeping it on the feet. Like I think at the end of the day, Charlton will shoot and Charlton will get it. I think Charlton's control is solid. I think he'll keep Volkov on his back. I think that Volkov's takedown defense is good, but his get-up's not so much. Let's not pretend Cyril Gane didn't land some takedowns on him and control him a little bit. And he's literally a kickboxer, an athletic one, but he's a kickboxer. Charlton knows what he does well, doesn't mess around. I didn't love Spivak taking him down, but like, okay, things happen. Like Volkov's had bad looks too. Like he looked horrible in the Marcin Tybura fight. I'm not going to harp on that for the rest of my life. So for me, I just think that it comes down to the fact that Almeida probably does get takedowns, and I do think that his jiu-jitsu is very, very good, and I do think that he can submit Volkov, and if not, I think he can grapple him to decision. So I think Almeida gets it done. If I don't end up on an Almeida bet somehow, then I'll root for Volkov, and I might not end up on a bet because I'm not dying to lay chalk on him when I do think that Volkov's a way better striker, and I love Volkov, but I think Almeida's going to win.
Fair enough. Brady, what are your thoughts?
50% of this is because it's way more fun to bet on Alexander Volkov this weekend. And I don't ignore the fun quality. That's part of what you budget for. But the other 50% is that what we've seen from Alexander Volkov over a long period of time in the UFC is like this weird like thing where he just keeps developing and evolving as time goes on past the point that a lot of heavyweights do not add anything to their game, and you don't see any additional wrinkles from people. I remember when he fought Alistair Overeem, and it was like, oh my God, Overeem is going to murder Alexander Volkov. And then you saw Alexander Volkov and you saw the force his punches were. It was like, who the hell is this dude? Like after that. And then also, I don't trust the wiring of Jelton Almeida for a couple very specific circumstances. One, the Curtis Blades loss was like a dude who sat there and allowed himself to get hammer-fisted unconscious because he was so committed to getting a takedown that he didn't even notice that his lights were going out. Second, something's fishy about Jelton Almeida. I will die on the hill if he had every opportunity to finish Derek Lewis. He chose not to finish Derek Lewis. In Brazil, why that happened, I don't know. We can only speculate. But he had every opportunity to finish Derek Lewis, and he deliberately chose not to several times. I don't trust that at all. So, if it's combined with like I can get my spirit behind Alexander Volkov, and this is a guy that continues to surprise us, year after year. Volkov money line. Let's enjoy Saturday.
Let's go. I love that. Oh, yes. Okay. So that moves us right on to the Umar Nurmagomedov Mario Bautista fight. And so this was interesting because I was a little surprised at the line when I finally pulled up the line. I mean, I thought Umar was going to be a big favorite, but like that's a really big number. And then I thought about it more and I go, yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense actually. I feel like it's going to be really hard for Mario to win the decision. I think it's really hard to beat Umar inside the distance because like you got to put him all the way out. That dude is tough. He has zero quit in him. Dude will fight through whatever. He's not going to tap. He's going to find a way out of a submission unless you completely put him to sleep. So I also kind of understand why the line is what it is. So for me, I think it's probably Umar, and I'm going to say decision. I feel like it's one of those fights where, it's Mario's going to do well enough to survive, but I think it's going to be a clear win for Umar, much like the Sandhagen fight where he didn't finish him, but we all kind of knew who won that one pretty clear. So, Couch, what are your thoughts?
You kind of already know my thoughts. I ranted to you before the show started. I ranted on my channel for like 10 minutes about this. So I'll try to only rant for a couple of minutes this time. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Batista's just not going to win. It's just not, the scorecards are already filled out. There's a 30-27 Umar. There's a 30-26, and then there's a 30-25. They're already written down. There's a piece of paper already sitting there, just waiting to be handed over to Bruce Buffer, whoever's announcing. Look, it's partially a joke, but look at my face. Am I really joking, or am I just pissed off? I'm pissed off because the judging there is horrendous. Like I said before, the only way you get to a 50-45 Usman Nurmagomedov over Paul Hughes in the second fight is if you did not watch and you pre-filled it out. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. It doesn't matter what Batista does because I don't think he's going to finish Umar, unfortunately. Maybe he can knock him out, but I don't think he will. I think that he can win a decision. I do. I think that he can be very competitive. I think that his takedown defense has continued to improve, and it's really, really good. I remember when people were saying, oh, Ricky's going to run through him. Ricky's going to take him down very easily. Ricky, this is a lock. Ricky's a lock. And what happened? Batista was able to stuff the takedowns and outstrike him, and it's only gotten better since then. He's only improved. Yes, he put on a snoozer against Aldo, but he did what he had to do to win. A lot of people who beat Aldo beat him that way. Merab beat him that way, and I don't see too many people complaining now. Volk beat him that way. At the end of the day, Aldo's super dangerous, and he did what he had to do. And against Umar, I do think that I like Batista striking a little bit more. I trust him to throw more volume. I think that he has a little bit more pop to his punch. Now, Umar, don't get me wrong. He's a very, very good fighter. He's a very good striker. He's very slick. I just don't think this line's right. I think the line is incorrect. It's only correct because of where they're fighting. If they were fighting anywhere else, this line would be wrong, and I'd be on Batista, but I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not playing Batista just for him to lose the decision that was already pre-written. And I think that's really what it comes down to. I think Umar's going to win a decision. Even judges aside, realistically, yes, his wrestling is very good. And while Batista's takedown defense has improved, most likely outcome in my mind is Umar just out-grapples him. He's able to get those takedowns. Maybe not able to control him a lot, but just enough to win the fight. I just think that it doesn't matter. Whatever we say now, it doesn't matter. Umar, it's already pre-decided. Unless the finish happens, Umar is going to get the decision. So is what it is.
Fair enough. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I am on Umar by decision here. And even for all the reasons Couch mentioned and a few others, I think the money line is usable in parlays. I think that is how likely of an outcome that is. But here's the thing about Mario Batista too, because there's been this big wave of the disrespect of this line on Mario Batista. And yeah, that's fair. Especially in a vacuum, that line would be disrespectful. At the same time, though, with Batista's last two wins, I still have some major question marks about both of those fights. A win against Jose Aldo at one of the easiest times in human history to get a win over Jose Aldo. And still, ended up very close on the judges' scorecards for a fight where there wasn't going to be outside influences. And then the Patchy Mix fight. I mean, he looked fantastic against Patchy Mix, but Patchy Mix literally had the yips. I don't think I'm overusing that term to say that Patchy Mix was yipped up in there, and because that's just such an unusual thing to see from somebody that's been in so many high quality fights. So I don't know. I think that yeah, I'm on like 40% of or 50% of like that. Yeah, Mario Batista is definitely being disrespected with this line. I think he is, but when we're talking about Umar Nurmagomedov, there is one guy in the world at 135 pounds that is better than him, and it's a guy that seems absolutely unbeatable right now. And even when he beat Umar Nurmagomedov, it was by very close margins. And when you see Umar Nurmagomedov in the wins, like when you beat Corey Sandhagen the way that he beat him, I believe that there's only one or two people in the world better than you. So that's a different level of stuff. And, you know, for all those other, you know, shady reasons Couch mentioned, like Umar moneyline, Umar by decision, use that, you know, as you will. But that's where I'm at.
Heck yeah, brother. Free, what are you on?
I've got a, you know, tremendously high opinion of Umar, like everyone does. You know, not too long ago, I was saying he could end up better than Khabib, and I think Khabib might be the GOAT. Like, you know, we all love Khabib, but I think I might have a higher opinion of Khabib than most do. And I think that's how much I think of Umar. I do think that we overrated him a tiny bit. I think Corey showed a pretty good blueprint to get ups, just giving up the back. Umar does have pretty good back takes, and he even gets like the crucifix from the back, which like no one does, and he does it pretty often. But we've seen people have success just giving up the back to get up. Obviously the cardio faded in the Merab fight, but this is a 3-round fight, shouldn't be relevant. It's like so I have a very high opinion of Umar, but a hot take here. I think this is like a pick 'em. Crazy as that sounds. I think Mario's the better striker. Again, perhaps a hot take. Everyone knows Umar has great kicks and stuff, but I think his striking's pretty overrated. Lots of single shots, like lots of naked straight rights, or straight lefts from the southpaw, and lots of naked kicks. Always one and done, you know, and he's kind of like, it's almost like he's hesitant to be in the pocket. He's just trying to land one and get away. He's either all the way out or all the way in, looking to, you know, mix in the striking and wrestling really well. But I think his striking is just kind of not as great as I used to think it was. And I think Mario is very clean, more basic, less diverse, but just better. And, you know, is Umar going to go for 20 takedowns like Quillen Salkeld or like Merab? No, I don't think he will. I think there's going to be lots of striking here, and Mario's going to look really good in those moments. And no matter how the fight goes, Umar's going to win a decision.
There you go.
I do this, you know, I don't know. I wanted to see what the odds were when they came out, because I was like, Mario could win a round here. You know, Mario plus 5.5 rounds is plus 100. That means he just needs to win a round on two judges' cards. He could lose 30-27, 29-28, 29-28 in a fight where we think he might win 29-28, but Umar gets a 30-27 scorecard, which blows all of our minds. The Mario plus 5.5 rounds would still hit in that scenario, and it's plus 100. You know, I kind of like something like that. I'm probably just going to parlay overs here.
There you go. Yeah, the overs. I feel like we get an over. And I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that I'll get to them. What do we got for an over? It's we have 250. I probably stay off, but I do think the over is what we get. But let's move right along. Let's see. I kicked that one off. That puts us on Couch Warrior. We've got the co-main event: Virna Jandiroba, Mackenzie Dern. Couch. We talked about this a little before the stream. I want to hear your reiterated opinions on this. I look forward to it. Let's hear them.
Yeah, I'm personally, I like Virna. I haven't made a play yet. There's still a few more things I want to go and look at on the tape and just think about it. Sometimes I like to retape later when my mind is fresh. So it's a fight I'm still thinking about. I don't hate the overs either. I don't really think there's going to be a finish personally. And I'm pretty surprised by the line, actually, that it's like pick 'em to go the distance. So that's interesting to me. I just think that like so much has been being put into this cardio thing for Dern, as if she's some kind of cardio menace, that she's always amazing cardio. And yes, she's gone 5 rounds 3 times in the UFC, lost 2 of them, did not look good in the later rounds in either of them, of those 2 losses. And the only time she looked good in the 5-rounder was against Angela Hill, one of my favorite fighters, God bless her, but like she had no resistance for Dern. She had nothing to get. She had nothing there. So it was not a difficult fight for Dern. So I'm not convinced that Dern has this amazing cardio that's so much better than Virna's just because Verna hasn't gone 5 rounds in the UFC. Has Verna had shaky third rounds? Absolutely. Sometimes she doesn't look great in the third round. 100% fair. I just don't think Dern always looks great in the later rounds either. And then, like, do I think the striking is like a complete wash for Dern? No, I don't. I do think she's a better striker. I think she hits harder and she's going to be more aggressive and throw more volume for sure. But then she has to keep it on the feet for that. And I don't think that she's going to keep it on the feet. She doesn't have great takedown defense. She's very confident off of her back for good reason because she's a very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. But Verna's a very good wrestler. What I love about Verna is that her control is elite. That's why she doesn't need 8, 9, 10 takedowns. She doesn't need 12, 15, 20 attempts. She takes you down one time, and that's the round because she has really, really good control. And a lot is made out of Dern's jiu-jitsu, and I'm not going to pretend it's not good. Verna's submitting the women that Dern cannot. All right. Dern lost to Lemos. Verna submitted Lemos in the second round. So, not to do MMA math, I'm just saying the jiu-jitsu is pretty close. And I think that Verna is going to be able to defend anything Dern throws her way. When Verna was on top in their first fight, she did not look uncomfortable. She looked absolutely fine defending the submission attempts from Dern. And I think that she's going to come out here, and I think she very well will get can get the takedowns, and she will get the takedowns. I think she'll be able to control, bank the first 3 rounds, and you're good. And I'm not convinced that she can't win the later rounds either. And out of the two of them, I also think she's the one who's locked in. She's the one who knew that a championship bout is on the table for her. She thought it would be against Wei Li. Wei Li was the champ. But Verna's on a 5-fight winning streak. She's been aiming for that title shot. She's been talking about it. She's been working for it. She's been getting these wins. The Yan Jianan win, super impressive for me. And on the other side, Dern had no idea this was happening. She had no clue she was going to be fighting for a title this week. It just fell in her lap, and she was like, oh, sick. And the UFC is more than happy to try to push her because they've been dreaming of this since the day they signed her, and it didn't seem like a possibility for obvious reasons. And now they're like, okay, she actually has a chance. I just think that, of course, she has a chance, but I personally think Verna should be the favorite. I can understand the argument that Dern's the rightful favorite just because of the cardio and because she has been 5 rounds fine. I just don't find that super persuasive. So for me, I like Verna. I think you can also, like, if you're too nervous to play Verna, but you think, it'll be competitive, I think the overs are fine at where they're at, like -115, -120 on the over 4.5. It's like -110-ish for the fight goes. So I think those are fine. I might end up targeting it that way. I might end up on Verna. I don't know yet, but I do lean towards the Verna side, and I just think there's a little bit too much emphasis being put on Dern in these 5-rounders where she didn't even look great outside of Angela Hill.
Fair plays. Brady, what are your thoughts on this co-main event?
Yeah, this makes me nervous in so many ways because I'm surprised the odds are what they are. And I'm like, wait, how close is Dern? But also it seems like the kind of fight that Mackenzie Dern should lose. And that's what also scares me because Mackenzie Dern is just weird and unpredictable. And sometimes it's like, damn, she is slicing in this one. But then in other ones, it's like, what is her thought process and what are they telling her in between rounds? Verna is so much more consistent and I know a lot more what to expect lately. She's giving me weird Pantoja vibes, the way that the way that she keeps progressing, the way that she could come to being a champion, and then it's she's just really good at some things and really good at doing those things with people. It's worked out really well lately. And yeah, it does concern me that Verna hasn't gone 5 rounds in the UFC. But I do think that if you go Verna money line or by decision, whatever it is, these are going to be some sweaty moments over the course of 5 rounds. Very, possible Mackenzie Dern could get very close to, an arm bar or something from guard, doing something. She's going to be attacking it. And, I'm sure she'll land some really solid shots standing up. But just round by round, Verna just has the more consistent way to win this one.
Fair enough. There we go. We got 2 for Verna so far. Free, what side are you on?
Happy to hear I'm on Verna too. When I looked at this card a week ago, Verna as an underdog was the first thing that jumped out, and I played it thinking that she might close as a favorite. I got the line movement wrong. I'm probably going to play her money line again. And I did put a full unit on Verna KO round 3, 4, 5 plus 5,000 on FanDuel. Oh. And they don't respect my action because it's still plus 5,000. So feel free to hop on. So I think I could give you a million reasons why Dern's going to win. Paramount Plus wants her to win. She's so much better than she was 4 fights ago. So much better. You can't talk about her striking, her wrestling, her round threes from previously. She's different now. Very good in round threes recently. Much stronger in the wrestling. Much better in the striking. She actually creates torque and gets her legs like toes to fingertips. She knows how to strike now when she used to throw arm punches. She already beat Verna, and this was the shitty Dern. And this was before, this is when Verna had 1 or 2 knees instead of 0. I get it why people are on Dern, and I'm pleasantly surprised that Dern's the favorite because I'm confidently on Verna too.
Let's go. Okay, 4 for 4 on Verna. This is what we like to see. I'm also biased. Verna's like one of my favorite women's fighters, like in the entire UFC. So it's actually in the entire world, outside of the UFC as well. I've been on Couch. I was telling Couch that I bet Verna like almost every single fight in her career. I think it was the first. What was it, like her third fight in the UFC, and I've bet on her every fight set. That Felice Herrig fight. Yep, that's the one. That was the first fight I bet on Verna. I've bet her every single fight since, and she's been an underdog in most of these. And yeah, Verna's my girl. She's cashing these tickets as a dog in almost every fight. I can't doubt her. Sure, she lost to Dern before. It was close. It was so close. Like, that fight could have gone either way, honestly. And maybe it's because I had a bet on Verna, but that's how I felt. The thing that I think is going to be different here, and it's something that I had said when Couch and I were chatting before, is that so when I'm in the gym, because there are a couple of jiu-jitsu ladies, right? When I'm in the gym and the black belts are rolling together, because I'm not a black belt, but the black belts are rolling with each other, even when they're going hard, you don't often see them sub each other because they're both so defensively sound that they can like kind of just negate the finish, even if they're losing. They'll do what they need to do to not get finished when it comes to that, right? I think that's why this sneaks over, and I actually think we get Verna decision. I think I'm seeing it like plus 325. I don't mind that. Throw a little bit on that and get yourself something. Like, I think she can win by another method, sure. But I don't mind the Verna decision. So that's kind of the way I am leaning with it. I got to shout out SD Crusader. I haven't said hi to him yet. So there you are. What's up, SD? Says Verna is the uncrowned queen. You know what's up. Nothing escapes her watch. That's also true. As unfortunate as that is for poor Verna, that is a very real thing. But yeah, all of us on Verna makes me happy.
Can I mention real quick? I got one more bet on this fight, which is for it to end by split. I played a full unit plus 500 on Bet Online.
I don't mind that at all because there's a very real possibility. So I was talking about to Couch about this before too. Did anybody watch the media day for Mackenzie Dern and that dude that straight up asked her about her squat routine? Dude, it was the most uncomfortable thing. It was so weird.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Yeah, you'll be in for a treat. It's like towards the end of the media day for her. But
did she demonstrate?
No, she didn't demonstrate, but she did give him a thorough breakdown of it and told him exactly what he wanted to hear, I suppose. I mean, she told him.
Was it sultry? Was it like?
It wasn't sultry. It was very like by the books and like this is like she took the question and as literal as she could, and it was probably the best response there. But we got the main event, and I believe we are on Brady kicking this one off. So, Brady, why don't you kick off the main event of the evening? What are your thoughts? Hopefully, we go 4-0 on this one as well.
There's been like quite a wave on like Twitter and whatnot this week too of like, I think Cyril Gane can get this done. Cyril Gane's being disrespected here. With Cyril Gane, here's the thing. They're both freakish kind of athletes for heavyweight. I just saw that video of Cyril Gane dunking. where he was just absolutely styling, and it's like how like that is a rare thing for that, because it wasn't like he was just dunking, like he was doing things that require athleticism and hang time. But Tom Aspinall, the way he fights, it maximizes the use of his athleticism. Sometimes Cyril Gane, he's such a technically, proficient kickboxer that like the athleticism isn't something he not relies on, but it's just like not necessarily as big a part of his game. And in rewatching what the combination of Francis Ngannou and John Jones did to Cyril Gane, and the fact that Cyril Gane is coming off of not a loss, but a fight where he was not the better fighter, which is, arguably more important, though I guess not, because he ended up getting a title shot off of it. To see like that I don't think was the areas where he was losing to Alexander Volkov, it was just like, and now you're fighting for the title after that. Like seeing how Tom Aspinall is able to explode for, take really hard shots from Sergey Pavlovich, keep his legs under him, respond like accurately, and the killer instinct that he has, the sense for finding a finish. When Tom Aspinall hits you, it's quick, the response is perfect, and it's accurate, because a lot of people, in the rush of that with the adrenaline, the precision isn't there. Tom Aspinall rocks you, and he hits you with a hammer fist on the way down that is just where it needed to be. When he's on the ground, he is hunting for submissions in every position that he ends up in, and it's worked out really well. People that are not easy to submit, and not easy to get to the ground and keep there, Tom Aspinall has made, look like easy things. So I don't, if this fight goes 5 rounds, if this fight, I guess, goes past round 2, you're more interested in Gane. But I just think in these early rounds, it's going to take a toll that it's going to dig him into a pit that I don't think he's going to be able to come back from if he makes it outside of the first 2 rounds at all. I think engaging in kickback, Gane is going to get hurt. I think that, he'll land shots on Tom Aspinall. But Aspinall seriously could put the lights out early in the fight, where Gane against Aspinall, I just don't think is going to have those opportunities. And if Aspinall wants to take it to the ground, he can probably do it, even if Cyril, survives a couple. Aspinall is too explosive, gets him down, and starts looking for a submission. Other than over the course of 5 rounds, it's hard to picture a lot of scenarios where Cyril Gane wins this fight.
Yeah, fair enough. Bree, what are your thoughts on this?
Brady, that was fire.
Yeah.
I think if you're on Gane, you bet the decision prop. It was plus 1,400. Now it's plus 9. I don't know why on earth you'd bet his money line. I don't see him getting a finish here in a jillion years. Tom got blasted by Sergey Pavlovich and didn't blink. Let me tell you a couple stats, a couple records about Tom that you won't find surprising, and then a couple that you might find surprising. So Tom is number 1 in UFC history, UFC record. He's only been in bottom position for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
That's 0.09% of his fight time, another UFC record. That's 9/10,000ths of his fight time. He averages a knockdown every 3.5 minutes. That's second ever in UFC history. You find those unsurprising, I know. What you might find surprising, he's 3rd in UFC history in strikes landed per minute. Unprecedented volume at heavyweight. He's above Max Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
He's above Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's not even on the list. Number 2 is Esteban Ribovic. Number 1 is Joshua Van. Ribovic and Van are the only guys above him. He's number 1 in UFC history for striking differential. He outstrikes people by 5.18 significant strikes per minute. It's to say it's absurd is an understatement. I think he is a cheat code. I think he is GOAT level. I can't tell you how bad I need him to win for parlays. And I'm going to put more on him. I was wishing the sub prop would be juicier than plus 260, plus 280-ish or whatever. And I think, so I only played it in a risky degenerate 2-leg parlay with Walter Walker round 1 sub. It's plus 1655, just 2 legs. I wanted to play Tom submission straight, but I was hoping the odds would be better. Gon, looked actually pretty good in the ground game against Volkov. In that fight, we expected Gon to look far better on the feet, Volkov to look far better on the ground. And it was actually the opposite. Gon couldn't really get off on the feet, and he looked pretty strong in the wrestling. So I don't think he's going to get bitched the way John Jones bitched him, but pretty close. And I think Aspinall is absolutely going to get a finish. And I really need him to get the dub.
Fair.
I can't imagine. He's already run through everybody. This guy could be, and he doesn't care. He doesn't want to be champion for another 20 fights. Like the swag that Tom has, the confidence that he has, the speed, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling. The only unknown, as we know, is the cardio. He looked a little crappy at the end of round 1 against Andrei Arlovsky, and then round 2 got the takedown, got the rear naked choke like butter. But I must admit the cardio is something of a concern still.
The one stat you didn't mention that I was glad you didn't, because I wanted to point it out, 100% takedown success rate for Tom Aspinall as well. He's only shot 4.
And 100% takedown defense.
Yeah. So, I mean, that also some of that comes with the fact that he's just packing guys up like they're an Amazon package and shipping them out. Honestly, though, I think he does the same here. Ciryl Gane keeps his hands low too. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but Tom Aspinall is like the fastest heavyweight by a mile. Like that dude is like, he's quick when he darts in. I mean, I understand say everything you will about, Don's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. I think Tom Aspinall is probably the best heavyweight we've seen, and if not ever, it's since Fedor, because I mean Fedor is kind of a special talent as well.
Kane.
But but that's, I don't know. I would rank Fedor above Kane on the all-time list. So, and I think Tom's on his way. Like I think he's on the way to the top. So for me, I think Tom Aspinall is the guy. I think he's going to pack him up no problem. I think he can knock him out. I think he can submit him, and I think he probably knocks him out. Honestly, I think he steps in with 1-2. Ciryl hits the ground and he follows it up. So that's where I'm at. It's one of those things where I actually just like so badly just want to just lay the house on him, but that line is so big that laying the house on him doesn't really get you a whole lot. Couch, what are your thoughts?
Look, I'll preface this with saying that I think Tom subs him in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I think parlaying Aspinall is a terrible idea. All respect to everybody. I think it's a really bad idea. And like, I get it. He's like I said earlier, when we talked about Volkov, him and Volkov, my two favorite heavyweights, we know very little about Aspinall still. He has less than 20 minutes of fight time in the UFC, and he's champion. Ciryl Gane has over, I think it's over 2 hours. This man has gone 5 rounds. He's been with the best of the best. Has he always looked great? No. Does he deserve to be here? No. And I think that's why this is priced the way it is, because he didn't win his last fight. Doesn't deserve this. I get it. But Aspinall is completely untested past the first round. Like Aaron said, the one time he did go past the first round, dude was exhausted. All right. He was tired. He was very tired. He was breathing heavy, and he didn't want to strike anymore. He was like, okay, this is going to be a lot easier if I just shoot. He shot. He got the easy sub, and that was that. That was not a good look at all in the cardio department. So I don't know how you can feel comfortable laying crazy chalk on Tom when he's fighting a guy who, can go the distance. We know that. And he also has weapons that are very, very good to use against a guy whose cardio is untested. Those teep kicks could be money. They could end up with him on his back, sure. But if they don't, he's going to be teeping. That's going to get to Tom. And we don't know how Tom manages cardio. What if Tom comes in, he's like, okay, I need to manage my cardio. And then he's not fighting as well. He's not doing what he's best at when he's being explosive. He's hopping in and getting that finish. I think there's a lot of ways this can go wrong. He's also fighting, in my opinion, the best striker he's fought to date. He also keeps his chin up real high, Tom. I think that's a huge problem with him. Is Ciryl Gane going to be the one who makes him pay for it? I don't know. But what I am confident is I don't know how you can be confident. Like, I just don't know. Yes, he's looked like a world beater. Yes, he's super fast. Yes, he's elite everywhere so far. But until he goes past the second round and continues to look good, I can't trust him at that number. And like, to be fair, you can be like, okay, but everybody thought Hamzat couldn't go 4-5, and then he went 4-5 and won a decision. Great point. But Hamzat prior to that had gone to a decision twice before and at least showed an ability to do that. Aspinall has not left the second round. It was only that Arlovsky fight. So we just don't know. I think that if you're betting it pre, you either bet Tom early finishes and then you live bet onto Gon, which is what I'm planning on doing, or you bet Gon pre and hope he doesn't get finished early and the fight gets extended. I don't hate stuff like fight goes the distance either, but I don't think that Gon can only win a decision, because like, how can you say that when you never seen Aspinall in 4 and 5? What if he's like keeling over? He doesn't have the cardio. He's an athlete. I tend to think that he'll be fine, but we don't know. We don't know. And if Gon is keeping it on the feet, we're getting to round 3, 4, 5. He's teeping. He's mixing it up. He's kicking to the body. He could probably finish Aspinall. And Aspinall, like I said, he does keep that chin really high. So I think Aspinall gets it done. I think it's a round 1 sub, but I think Gon can get it done. I don't think this is a lock. I don't think this is a foregone conclusion. And I think there's a lot of things we still need to find out about Aspinall before we start, acting like he's always going to win every single time. I think this is a great matchup for him, but I think there are certain things that Ciryl Gane poses problems that he hasn't had before. Like Curtis Blades is also extremely chinny. Like, are we going to just pretend that's not it? And Pavlovich ended up not being as great as we thought he is. He's solid, but he's not like the world beater everybody thought he was going into that Aspinall fight. And aside from that, we're talking Volkov, who, God bless him, but he doesn't have a great game off of his back. Who else was there? There was Spivak. Okay. There was one more that I'm blanking off. Tybura.
Let's make it a little spicy. So, you're picking Volkov, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you were. Son of a bitch.
Almeida.
Even though Jelton just ran through Spivak. He
didn't exactly run through him. He got taken down and controlled first.
He did. He did for a brief moment. The Gane just repeated takedown defense concerns. Just like that's the only thing I can visualize is like, so can Gane attritionally KO him late the way he did Derek Lewis? I mean, it took him 14 minutes to KO gassy ass Derek Lewis. Like I find it hard to visualize Tom being so gassed that the attritional KO develops.
I don't think it's super likely, but I think it's on the table just because we don't know. And the only sample we have of Tom leaving the first round, he did look tired. And that was against ancient Arlovsky at the tail end of his career.
I would say it's like a straight bet. Like, is there value on a late KO straight bet on Ciryl? I would say absolutely. But it's similar to my thought on his decision. Like, I just personally don't think there's value on the Ciryl money line. I do think there's value on Ciryl late or decision props. Like,
it's just like it's MMA. And again, you don't know. Like even round 3 might be really bad for Aspinall. We just don't know. Like, I lean towards no. I think he's a tremendous athlete. I think he's fine, but we don't know.
No doubt. I just feel like it's so binary how Gane could win, and there's so much value on those late props and the decision props that personally I do think there's value on the Tom money line, but I think there's value on those Gane props.
Yeah, I will also say though, Gane is an idiot. Like in the Volkov fight when he went for the heel hook again, I was like, dude, are you kidding me? You did not. He was my first ever max bet when he fought Francis Ngannou. I was like, he's got this. He's got this. He goes for the heel hook. I lose my money. And then I'm watching this Volkov Gane fight. And then he does it again. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And that should have cost him again. He should have lost that fight. I had a bet on Gane there, so thank God he won. But yeah, he's an idiot. I don't trust him to fight smart. Again, I do think Aspinall is going to take him down and submit him in the first. It's just I have a lot of questions if it gets extended. And I personally think the best way to target it, you take Aspinall early props if you want to. Watch how it shakes out. And then if they get into round 3, you see that Gane's doing okay, it could be a good live bet.
No doubt.
I just don't get why everybody is so quick to like discredit somebody when they've literally just packed up all their competition in 6 minutes or less.
Well, I'm not discrediting anything. I think what he's done is great, but I think there's still a lot of questions. And to make him minus 400 in a 5-round fight is silly.
It's the everyone has that. Well, I can't trust him until I've seen him not beat somebody easily. But like, if you beat,
it's not beat someone easily. It's I can't trust him at minus 400 to go 5 rounds when I've never seen him go 5 rounds. And I don't think it even goes that far. I don't even think we leave the first. But again, we have to think about these things when we're laying minus 400 on a guy. Like, we're not talking minus 200. We're not talking minus 175. We're talking minus 4. It's even higher, I think. So like you either have to parlay him on everything or you have to lay 4 units straight to win one. Like it's just
you're missing the point. The point is, has he not looked minus 400 by packing up everybody inside of a round pretty much? I mean,
were those matchups not favorable to him?
I think this matchup is more favorable to him. He's fought tougher guys than this. Like Volkov. Like guys who actually have a ground game.
I think Volkov is worse
and guys who have more power than Gane. Guys who have better ground game than Gane. Guys who have more power than Gane.
They also don't have the footwork of Gane. Gane has way better footwork. What if he can't find him?
I think the John Jones that beat Gane was the worst John Jones. It was USADA era heavyweight. Then we saw new shredded, John Jones versus Stipe. He couldn't even finish Stipe that freaking easy the way he finished Gane. I hear you, Mike, and I know you're picking Tom round 1, right? And this is, I think, what people come to see. They don't want us all to pick Tom round 1. They know that. So I love this right here.
Yeah.
I mean, my only point is I think you should be careful parlaying him. That's my only point.
Too late.
And
you should have told me months ago.
I think he's looked better than minus 400 in every fight. So I think it covered the line easy.
Listen, man, I hope you're right. I love Tom. And like I said, I'm on him early. So
just to offer a closing thought on that. One, the narrative sucks if Cyril Gane wins this fight. Then it's man,
John Jones is going to be unbearable. He's going to be unbearable.
All the duck stuff has been so fun while it's lasted. And the thing, like, when Kentucky won the national championship in 2012, it was the top criticism of them entering the tournament that, well, Kentucky just hasn't played any close games this season. Like, they've just destroyed everybody. What's going to happen when they're in a close game? It turned out to work out just fine. And so as I celebrated that championship win, 13 years ago, I'm feeling the same way. And, I feel like I was on that way for plenty of chance. I feel like I was feeling that with like Habib. Like, it's like, dude, like, after I quit it, like, it's just been so easy. What happens if someone makes it not easy? It turns out this guy just made everything look easy. So that's how I feel about Aspinall. But yeah, to Couch's point, there are plenty of variables here. It's a very unique career that Tom Aspinall has had.
To be fair, Tom did blow out his knee in a fight, and he could totally do that again. You never know. But
that too. I was on Tom there. That really sucked. I was so upset.
So was I.
Can I mention one thing on odds and probabilities? Like, I think we get a little too torn. And I'm a chalky guy. I'm a parlay guy. But like, so minus 400 versus minus 200. We think of that as like a vast difference.
Mm-hmm.
On one of them, you bet $100 to win 50. On the other one, you bet $100 to win 25. Minus $300, you're betting $100 to win 33. The odds are not that different once you get that far out there.
I mean, it's a 15% difference, give or take.
It's like, to me, it's like if you lose that bet, you're screwed. And if you, you know what I mean? It's like we look at those as so vastly different, but it's still the scenario where you're paying up $100 to win a quarter to a half of 100.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And I think it's healthy to like think about the numbers in those different ways. It's healthy to think about parlays in different ways. If you're making a parlay, what that is like, would you put all of that money on a straight bet on the last leg? Like, that's how you have to think about it. And so I just like to try to like ask myself that question.
That's what parlays are. It's the same thing as, you bet on, for example, Umar, you take what you won, including your original stake. You put it on, for example, let's say Verna, and then, she wins, you do that and you put it on. It's the same thing. The numbers are the same. The math is the same.
Like, if your parlay is going to win $1,000 and Tom's the last leg, you have to ask yourself, would I put $750 on Tom straight? That's how, to win that last $250 or what, maybe it's 800 to win that last 200. Would I put $800 to win 200 on Tom? That's what you're doing if Tom's the last leg in your parlay. And yes, sir. Yes, please. Let's go.
Well, let's go. On that note, let's tell I've got links for everybody in the description of the video, but for the people that aren't going to pull up the description, because sometimes they just don't, why don't we all tell everybody where they can find everybody? And, let's start with Brady. That's kind of where we kicked off the main event. So Brady, tell everybody where they can find you and how they can support you.
So I'm on Twitter at Roto Brady. YouTube is at Tap That MMA Podcast. I write MMA DFS articles through rotoballer.com. And then, okay, what's the last thing? Yeah, I finally broke down and created an Instagram account because it's how so many fighters choose to exclusively communicate for some reason. So I'm on there at Roto Brady MMA.
There we go. There's where we can find him. Free. Tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm mostly known for Instagram. By the way, Brady, this is my first time meeting you. You're a fucking stud, bro. I love listening to you. You're funny. You're a great storyteller. You'd be great at sales. All of you guys would be great at sales. Like,
thanks, man.
Brady, you're a good storyteller. I've known Mike and Tyler. Very nice to meet you, and you crushed it. And free UFC bet picks on Instagram. I want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you something that you're going to be surprised. I'm so eager to tell you. I'm down 78 units this year. This is my first down year, and transparency is everything. I was like thinking, oh, maybe Tyler asked me like how my year's going, and I was excited to tell you that I'm sucking this year. But long term, I'm up 212 units. So yeah, that's I know that was random and weird, but I wanted to tell everybody like that I fucking suck this year.
Dude, it happens. It does. But you also have hit some of the most ridiculous parlays I've ever seen in my entire life, to the point that I'm just like, dude, I would retire at that point. Like, I would just be done. Like, absolutely, like that, like a $5 parlay cashing out for like over 100 grand type of stuff. Like, you're insane.
I appreciate it. Like, unofficial, I did sweep in March, and so that unofficial parlay has me positive in the year. But for my recommended bets, yeah, atrocious. And like, I had a bad Q4 last year, but it was because I got purposely risky. I was trying to win a quarter grand, I was purposely risky. This year, I'm like trying to be safe. I'm trying my best. And, minimum Figaro fight ends in round one. Like every week, my safe parlays are just sucking. That's why I'm so bad this year. But I appreciate you, my man. But yeah, next year when I'm telling you guys that I'm crushing it again, now I'm honest.
Yeah. And to be fair, I do this every year. I don't know what it is. The first 6 months of the year, I am terrible. I can't hit a bet. And then the last 6 months of the year, I start to put it together.
Let's do it.
Kind of how it goes.
I'm the opposite, bro. I was so hot to start off the year, and now I've just been like plateauing for the most part. I've had like 3 break-even events in the last month, 2 on Contender Series, and this past week I lost $8. So 0.08 units. So I've been break-even 3 events of this month. It's been trying to turn it around.
I get it, because like the reverse, because like last year, take 2024 for example, dude. Like I think it was like June or July or whatever. I'm down like 24 units on the year. Like I'm getting killed. And then I turn it around and I end up plus like 20 some odd units at the end of the year. And I'm like, man, that was like a 40 something unit swing. If somebody just started tailing me only at like in July, they was doing great.
Well, and the opposite is terrible too. I've got longtime followers who don't care that I'm sucking. And I've got people who signed up like this year. I'm like, my God, bro.
Yep.
Like, I'm so sorry.
It's so hard. And then you're like trying to push it and you're like, dude, like I want you to buy the picks, but like I also want you to know that like I promise it's not always but yeah, sometimes you have really good I'm starting to get to the end of the year. That's usually when I do my best. So we'll see. Couch, tell everybody where they can find you. I'm sure they know you by now because we do these all the time, but tell them anyway.
Yeah, I'll do it real quick, and then I really got to go because it's really late and I have work early tomorrow. But Couch Warrior Podcast on YouTube, Couch Warrior Pod on Twitter, all my bets, notes, and breakdowns. The Only Houses Stims Discord link is in the description of like all my stuff. Doing YouTube Shorts on Friday. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get the opportunity to win back my Wager Wars bet, depending on the champ, if he doesn't run from me. You heard me, pick him. You heard me. Don't run. That would be fun. I love Wager Wars. But yeah, you hopefully you can see me there. We'll see if it works out. And if not, my shorts will come out on Friday. If for some reason you want more of my breakdowns, my shorts, I post them every single week. 1 minute or less breakdown of every single fight on every single card. I think I'm over 1,000 shorts now posted, which is cool. So check that out. And thank you guys all for tuning into the panel. One of my favorite things we do, me and Tyler. And thank you to Brady for coming on. Thank you to Aaron for coming on. It was a blast. And thank you to everybody listening. And I got to get out of here. Peace out, guys.
Sounds good. See you, Couch. For everybody else, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate everyone, all the folks in the chat. everybody for being on the live stream. Both of you guys, awesome guests. This has been a great time. We've talked for like almost 3 hours. So we are going to end the stream right now and let everybody get to bed. It is late.